Alex R. Wagner, and we getting into it this Tuesday. Got some affordability speech from Daddy Trump over here. Mr. Daddy Trump said that he was never going to do any more rallies, but he's still doing fucking rallies. He's still pulling it off, guys. Let's get into our live chat. Got to make it all nice and dandy. Monetization obviously on. News and politics today, and no news is news with Alex R. Wagner, obviously. Hit save. There we go. Let's get that poll of the day going, guys. Kelchi poll of the day is J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Gavin Newsom, and AOC's got 8.8% coming back out of it. Okay. Here we go, guys. Who will be president in 2028? 867 days until election. Got J.D. Vance sitting pretty in first place now. And I think he's got 32 wins. Is that what it is? No, 33 wins. 33 wins. What? We got Mr. Gavin Newsom. Oh, no, that's Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio with 2 wins. We got Mr. Gavin Newsom with 13 wins. Welcome back to the chat, Michael. Of course, JD. JD's pulling it off so far. And then in fourth place, back at it with 8.8%, AOC is back in the hot seat. Get your votes in now. Let's get her started. We're going to start today with Daddy Trump in the rain. Daddy Trump in the rain? No way.
When you're ready to raise the bar on HR, we've got you. That's bambooable. When
I think he's still selling. So, yeah, he's still some stuff.
Big crowd of people. Hello, everybody. We're in Pennsylvania. We're celebrating the great steel numbers. We are back in the steel business in a big way, one of the biggest in the world again. And we're here to have a good time with a very big crowd of people.
The Department of War is asking for $80 billion more for the Iran war. Do you think Americans support this at a time when so many are financially struggling?
Who are you with?
I'm with the nation, sir.
Not a very good group. Not doing very well. Not only do they support it, they demand it because they won't allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. You want to see trouble? Let them have a nuclear weapon. We're doing very well with Iran. They've been decimated, and we're making a deal with them, and we'll see how that all goes. And right now, as you probably heard yesterday, we had 19 barrels of oil, 19 million barrels of oil come off, and that's the biggest in the history of the Strait, the Hormuz Strait. Our stock market is through the roof, and oil prices are tumbling. We actually hit for a moment today. In fact, I think it's going to break at $70 a barrel. That's lower than we were when we started, and it's been amazing. And the big thing is, Iran will not have a nuclear weapon.
House President, what's on your agenda for your meeting tomorrow with senators at the lunch about Save America Act?
Well, we're just going to talk about Save America. We have to pass the Save America Act, which is voter ID, which is proof of citizenship, etc. We have to pass it. So we're going to have to talk about that and many other things. A lot of good relations.
The President, the Senate Majority Leader, John Thune, has told you many times he doesn't believe that they have the vote to pass it. That's what being a leader is about.
You know, he's a leader. John's a leader. That's what being as a leader is about. Look, we have to be able to get proof of citizenship when you vote. Otherwise, we don't have elections. We have to be able to get voter ID. So John is a leader, and hopefully he can get the votes.
Mr. President, on Iran, the Iranians are saying there's no scheduled visit for the IAEA inspectors. Is that part of your agreement?
They're wrong.
So
They're wrong. They know they're wrong. They told us inside, and we have it down 100% inspection. they were right, I'd cancel the meetings right now.
And Iran says there's no reason to buy ag products.
Has it passed the House yet? No.
At the appropriate time. There's no rush.
It's good. It's called agenda building. We'll get to it, but basically both the Republicans and the Democrats both came out today in the Senate and explained like what they're after, and that's what they're going to run on in the midterms, and that's what everything's going to be about. And so we'll get to that in the second half of the show today. You think he's gaining 50 or 75 pounds? Me or this guy? I've gained about 75 pounds, honestly. About 75 pounds. You're not wrong. I was 189 and I'm about 240 now. Well, no, only 50 pounds. He is like 75.
Savannah's gone through rough, that family's gone through hell. I don't think so.
Mr. Rose, on the reflecting pool, you mentioned yesterday that the
Uh-oh, reflecting pool.
photos.
Give me it. Give me it. What's the reflecting pool?
Are you going to compel
Conspiracy deepens on the reflecting pool, guys.
So the reflecting pool looks fantastic. I just got pictures of it. It's beautiful, but somebody went in with a knife and cut it. They cut it up good.
Not you,
They cut
you
it
look great,
to
him.
300 before it slipped.
He's looking better than me, so I don't know.
In the form of lots of little slips, the real horrible stuff, and they destroyed the grass. They put a brand new big load of grass out there, they destroyed it. So it's all being fixed, but it's a shame. So I understand 5 or 6 people are arrested. The Interior Department didn't refer to you.
Will they release them? Are you going to ask them to release them?
I hear they have 6 people under investigation.
Mr. President,
Well, now they're not. You can't get a job. Right now, we have the highest job numbers we've ever had in the country.
Guys, make sure you double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, send people into the algorithm for our poll of the day, as it is every single day on this show, with 55 minutes left in our show and 867 days until the election. JD Vance with 80% of the vote today, guys. Whoa.
And I'm just with a couple of the great
JD
senators.
head's coming in strong.
It's actually hard to build, nobody's ever seen a time like this. We have right now so many jobs that are going to be available, and the biggest problem we have is getting the people. So we're really doing spectacular. In this area, in Pennsylvania, for steel, Eli Lilly just announced billions of dollars worth of plants. We have more plants being built right now in the United States than at any time in the history of our country.
Mr. President, what will you say to allies of yours like Senator Cruz, who's been critical of the Iran deal?
Well, I think anybody that's been critical of it has to be educated, even if they're friends of mine. Because we have Iran in a position that nobody's ever had. It should have been done for 47 years by other presidents. And we have Iran in a position where their military has been totally wiped out, their leadership has been wiped out, their radar has been wiped out, everything's been wiped out. They have not a good negotiating position. But despite that, and money that will be taken out of Iran is going to go to our farmers to get corn, soybeans, wheat to Iran, because they have a hunger problem, they have a food problem, they have a medicine problem, they got a lot of problems. And they have an inflation. Their inflation now just at 300%. So they have a lot of problems.
Mr. President, Iran?
So we have a radical left communist elected, I guess, soon to be elected mayor of D.C. D.C. is now a safe, you people know better than anybody, it's a safe, beautiful city. When I came here, it was unsafe, unkempt, horrible city. It was horrible. The monuments and the waterfalls and the statues and everything were graffiti written, hadn't been fixed in 50 years, clean. Now it's beautiful. We did 50 statues, monuments, waterfalls, including the thing that, where the vandals hit the reflecting pool, but we'll get that back very quickly. In fact, I will say, this morning I sent people over, they said it was absolutely beautiful. But we're going to have to let a little water out and fix it, and then we'll put the water back.
Mr. President, on ODNI.
Just so you understand, so our country is doing really well, and we're going to keep it that way.
Mr.
And
President.
any senator that didn't vote for all of the things we need because we're making an amazing deal with Iran. We're making a deal that's going to keep our country and the world safe because we're not going to let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And they know that and they agree to that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, guys, make sure you double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, send people into the algorithm for that poll of the day. Daddy Trump later on arrived at President Trump delivers remarks on affordability for the Mack truck plant in Macrugy, Pennsylvania. He spoke to supporters for several topics. All right. But this is not a rally, guys. Okay? Remember, he retired the rally. He retired the rally, and now he's just the president going to see you at work.
I won this place so much. We won.
Oh, USA chance. Okay. Okay.
Well, I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible Commonwealth with proud, hard-working patriots of
Lock Trump up?
Lehigh Valley.
Yo. That's a lot of people,
I'm also proud
Pennsylvania.
to say I won this state in a landslide. We won it by so much.
That's a lot of people, Pennsylvania. But why is he campaigning?
And, remember, I
Kinda
had
weird.
the
Kinda weird.
couple
It's
of
June.
little statements too big
It's
to
June.
rig. Make it too big to rig because these people cheat
What are we
like
doing?
hell. They cheat
June,
like
you can't run
hell,
for
but we
president
won
again?
it by a lot. And maybe we should run again. Should we run one more time? I'd like
Maybe
to
run
do
one more
that. I'd
time?
like to do it.
You're
But I
trying to
got more
fucking get him
votes than
pissed.
any candidate in the history of Pennsylvania. Can you believe that, Bo? You would have gotten more. And today I'm especially honored to be here in the place that builds some of the toughest vehicles on the road, Mack Trucks. Mack Trucks is doing a great job. We have all of the Mack people, the chairman. We have a whole group of here, all the leaders, the big guys. They're trying to get a contract for 15,000 trucks. 15,000. I said, that's a lot.
Guys, make sure you double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, send people into the algorithm for the poll of the day, as it is every single day on the show. And with 10 minutes into our show, 50 minutes remaining, JD Vance still coming away with it with 55% of the vote today, guys.
I said, how
We
many
are
you
JD
looking for?
heading
10,
it. Oh.
15? No, 15,000,
Woo.
sir. That's a lot of trucks. For more than 100 years, this legendary company has been making trucks right here in eastern Pennsylvania, building the heavy-duty machinery that keeps our economy rolling, our factories moving, and our industries roaring all across the nation. And you are the men and women who put your pride and spirit into those beautiful words, stamped on every Mack truck that said, made in the USA. It's made in the US. And I want to especially thank the president of Mack Trucks, Stephen Roy, who I just met, who's a great guy, a great patriot, very Republican too, which I like. He's a very strong Republican. Stephen, where are you, Stephen? Stephen. We got to get a certain very talented congressman reelected. You know that. We got to get him. Where are you? Where are you, Mr. Congressman? We got to get you back in. Thank you, and thank you, Stephen. But a very special thanks to every single worker at this fantastic factory. The job you're doing here is incredible. And I know
Republican voters recognize their enemy. President Trump, thank you for protecting the U.S. voters. Exactly. Like, that's the thing is I really think, like, Pennsylvania is kind of the perspective we all are having right now, which is like, I don't know. There's a bunch of wackadoodles all pissed off at Trump still, but they've always been pissed off at Trump. And I'm pretty sure Trump is better than whatever the hell is coming out of this.
you're applying.
Look at that vote every day, guys. Whoever is coming out of this is not going to be as good as Trump.
For a big one, and
Even if you're TDS'd, remember that. It's not going to be as good as Trump.
let's see how that goes.
It's not even going to be as delicious or entertaining to watch.
Is your price right, Stephen? I don't
Look
know.
at this
Maybe
guy.
we'll get it down.
You only
a little
got
bit.
2 more years of him.
We'll get
That's
it
it. That's all we get.
15,000 trucks. That's a lot of trucks. But that's what this is all about. It's greatness. You built this country, and you are the ones who are making America great again. We're the hottest country in the world for decades. For decades, the workers of this Commonwealth watched globalist politicians let other countries rip you off and close your factories, rob your jobs, take them away to foreign lands. And then I came along. We stopped it very quickly. Then we had a rigged election. But they were so stupid, they kept everything going a little bit for us. And what we've done in the last year and a half, nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Ironically, Mack truckers are owned by Volvo. Is that really true? Is that really true? That's fucking crazy, y'all.
They put America first.
Well,
They
Obama
put
and
China
Trump drone
first. They
bombed,
put illegal aliens
Americans
first and
in
everybody
Yemen.
else
Facts.
first. But you.
That is true.
But we put you first by a lot. But at long last, you finally have a president who is putting
Never vote Democrat
workers
again.
first.
I literally voted for Jasmine Crockett to try to like Bernie Sanders the fucking shit again. Didn't happen. They stole the election from Jasmine Crockett even, guys.
Putting Pennsylvania first and
Put that
putting
fucking Tellerico
America
fella up here.
first. We're doing that, and we're
PNC
doing
is the
it
most
like
unfair place in the
nobody's ever
world.
seen before.
Just being real on that one.
And starting on my first day back in office, and this goes all the way back to 2016 too.
Trump's
but
approval rating 30%.
right from a year and a half
You would think
ago,
it'd be
nobody's
lower?
ever seen anything like
would
this. We're
think
the
it would be
hottest
lower,
country
I'm on
anywhere in the world by a lot. But I stood up to the trade cheaters. They're cheaters and abusers and violators of the world like no president has ever stood up before. And now I'm standing up again because Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, if that's okay. And
Left, right, pick a team and fight is making Americans into useful idiots. It really is. And it's getting like dumber and dumber every year, is it not?
we're doing quite well. I placed
You know what I say about my show? Ignore the people that say TDS and also ignore the people that say MAGA. Because those are the... Oh, there you go, TDS Trump dumb supporters.
50% tariffs on foreign copper, aluminum, and
Oh,
steel,
she's trying to
so they
spin the
couldn't come in and
TDS, though.
steal
She's
your
trying to spin the
jobs.
TDS, though.
And sometimes even more than 100% tariffs. They weren't going to come in from foreign lands and steal your jobs. If they wanted to come in, they pay 100%, they pay 200%, they pay I don't care what it is. They're not going to steal your jobs.
They pay 100%, 200%, I don't care what it is. They're not going to steal your jobs. Frame it on your door, people. Frame it on your door, people. Let's pull that one back. That's a good quote for all time's sake.
And we're doing quite well.
Quite well.
I placed 50% tariffs on foreign
Right here.
copper, aluminum, and steel so they couldn't come in and steal your jobs. And sometimes even more than 100% tariffs. They weren't going to come in from foreign lands and steal your jobs. If they wanted to come in, they pay 100%, they pay 200%, they pay I don't care what it is. They're not going to steal your jobs.
They're going to pay 100%. They're going to pay 200%. They're going to pay I don't care what it is. They're not going to steal your jobs. Do you believe him? Do you believe him?
Okay, and they stop.
I love that one. That was a good
And
one.
right now we have more factories being built, and I mean car factories, AI factories, factories of every type that we've
How
ever
much is
had in
200%?
the history of our country.
Doesn't matter. Like you said, they're going to pay 100, they're going to pay 200, they're going to pay I don't care. They're not going to steal your jobs.
3 times. That's because
Okay, guys?
they didn't want to pay the tariff.
Remember.
How don't you pay a tariff? You build your factory here and you hire American workers. It's quite simple, actually.
It's quite simple.
But as you know, I placed a 25% tariff on
I
foreign
gotta do it one more time. I
automobiles
gotta do it one more
and
time. It's so
very
good.
steal your jobs. If they wanted to tariffs on foreign copper, aluminum, and steel, so
So
they couldn't
good.
come
It's
in and
so
steal
good.
your jobs, and sometimes even
Gotta
more than
frame this.
100% tariffs, they weren't going to come in from foreign lands and steal your jobs. If they
jobs.
wanted to come in, they pay 100%,
100%
they pay
tariff,
200%, they pay I don't care what it is. They're not going to steal your jobs. Okay? And they stop.
I don't care. I believe him. I believe him. 100%, 200. They're gonna do whatever. They're not gonna steal your jobs.
And right now we have more factories being built, and I mean car factories, AI factories, factories of every type that we've ever had in the history of our country by 3 times. That's because
3 times.
That's because they didn't want to pay the tariff.
Hat trick.
How don't you pay a tariff? You build your factory here and you hire American workers. It's quite simple, actually.
Ayo. Oh,
But as
Grandpa
you know,
Fox
I
News
play
out here
say
fucking yelling at us.
25% tariff on foreign automobiles.
You know what you do? You
Very
don't take our jobs. We take our jobs, and we took our jobs. It's the fucking South Park characters behind him, guys.
They opposed to 25%
For
tariff on
real.
medium and heavy-duty trucks. So that
He brought 'em
trucks
right in.
do very well with this factory in
Took our
Pennsylvania.
jobs. We took our jobs.
But all American roads will be filled with American trucks very shortly. Very few people are able to compete
Oh,
with us
hell
anymore.
yeah.
They used to rip us off. It was like we were a bunch of babies.
Can we make sure that the American trucks do American things? Like they got like fucking spinner wheels. Every American semi comes with American flag spinners. There you go.
Labor workers
America!
at the head of your unions, and they've been terrific. They work with us, and they're fair. The trade is good. Maybe we can negotiate a little bit tougher. Where the hell are the union guys? Those guys are great. They're great. There they are. I want to just say hello.
China.
We gotta
Charge
we gotta
back all
make
the
sure you
tariffs.
vote for our congressman here. I'm not doing this for my health. Right? Muser.
Oh.
We even have Muser here. That's right. Within a single year of taking office, I slashed
Obama
trade
wants to
deficit
structure the
with
United
China
States.
by
Guys, Obama built a fucking library, and you guys are all about Obama again all of a sudden. You got like real scared. Just because he came out of his fucking hole and like popped his head out for like a day doesn't mean he's going to take back over, okay? Obama's going to go right back in the hole where he came from. He just was trying to sell us a library. It's okay. He just wanted us to listen to Bono. That's all that was about.
the largest amount in the history of trade. And we, by the way, have the biggest trade
America is the
deficit
special
cut
needs family member.
in the history of our country.
Yes, we are.
67
But you know what? Them fucking Europeans love us, don't they? You seen those videos, guys? Oh, you cringe at those videos, don't you? Or do you like, did you watch some like Maddow conspiracy theory where they're like, actually, all the videos of the Europeans having a really great time at Buc-ee's or AI? Like, no, like, it's fucking amazing. All of the, like, the reactions to the fucking stadiums in Atlanta, it's just, it shows
Look at
you.
this.
Be
We had a trade
grateful.
deficit.
You
We
get to
cut
be
our trade
entertained by
deficit.
this fucking guy.
If you're a president and you cut it by 1%, they say, oh, you're
1%.
doing a great job.
100%, 200%, I don't care. They're not taking your jobs.
Up 2%, you're a genius. I cut it by 67%.
67. 67. 67.
That's why you have all of these factories being built. And they'll soon be opening. They're already opening. But when those factories are opening,
Have you talked to
I
anybody
don't
from
know
the
what
EU?
you're going to do. You're going to negotiate very good salaries, that I can tell you.
Europeans
Because they
do not
need
love
you. In
America.
many
I
ways,
know, yeah,
they
you
need
guys are
you
like
more than you
fucking-
need them.
having a conniption fit over
American
Buc-ee's.
exports to the rest of the world
They
are
like
up by
Buc-ee's, sorry.
$150
Sorry.
billion. You hear that, Bo? It's not bad.
86,
Gotta
86.
wrestle a
Well,
long way to make that.
86 you.
Bo is going to have
Guys,
to win a
no-
lot of
no
tournaments
political
to have to
assassination
make that money.
jokes or anything
Think of
like
it,
that.
$150
political
billion
show.
dollars up.
30-minute
We never
timeout, my
had
guy.
that. We
Sorry.
always have losses. We take in much more
86,
than we send
47.
out.
That's
Now
another
we're
one.
up 150
Yo, is the
billion,
FBI
and that's
watching my
nothing
fucking
because
feed
when
tonight,
all these
guys?
factories are opening up,
Y'all are
Mr.
wild
Senator,
in that
another
fucking
great
control.
one. What a great senator you have.
It's another
Did you
30-minute
fight
timeout,
hard?
you little bitch.
David,
We're fucking threatening people.
David, did you
Including
fight
Daddy
hard?
Trump.
He was with
Don't-
me at,
don't
I
threaten
think,
Daddy
every
Trump.
stop.
Been through
I
enough.
said,
this
where the
guy.
hell is David? He's right there, sir.
You
And
buy
he's
Donald.
working
That's
hard,
great.
and
You
he's
can
a
do that.
great guy,
That's
and
fine.
he's working
can't
very
handle
hard
it.
for you. But a short time ago, we were a dead country. We were laughed at all over the world. We were a dead country. People were laughing. They were saying, what the hell happened to that country? The king of Saudi Arabia said it 2
He's gonna go up there one time. He's gonna go. We were a dead country. We were as dead as my hair.
years ago. I was over there. He
He's
said,
gonna
"You
do
know,
it.
sir,
He's gonna do it, guys.
2 years ago you were a dead country, and now you're the hottest."
Okay, all you liberals out there in the chat, like, here's the thing. You know how you guys are like, oh my God, he's just as senile as Biden. He's just as senile as Biden. Imagine if Donald Trump actually became as senile as Biden. Can you imagine Donald Trump senile? The fucking insanity that would ensue.
Country anywhere in the world, it's true. And we're hotter now than we were
I
then.
mean, he's almost. He's getting up there. But if he ever lost his fucking mind, we'd all know
He
it.
then proceeded to announce that he's investing $2 trillion in our country, along with
So
Qatar.
let's not act like that
along with
barometer ain't there.
UAE.
If he goes
Bahrain
crazy,
is
he can go
investing,
crazy.
Kuwait's investing, but countries from all over the world, they're all investing in the United States. 2 years ago, they wouldn't even
The
think
war
of it.
is
They thought we
over.
were finished.
Yay!
When I went to China 2 weeks ago, I met with President Xi.
Y'all can't think stupid,
And
just
we
get out the
greeted
way.
each other, and he looked at me and said,
400 live in the
"Many
chat. That's the most live chatters we've ever had on a live stream ever before, guys. Welcome to the show. No news is news. Double tap. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe. Send people in the algorithm for our poll of the day, as it is every single day on this show. And with like 40 minutes left in the show, and we're definitely going to keep cooking because we're cooking with the live subscribers. I'm pretty sure JD Vance is still pulling away with it.
because they thought they had us, but now
Can't get it up here. Let me
it's
pull it
really
up.
the opposite. We are doing numbers that nobody's ever seen before, so it's great. It's great. We had a great meeting. But as you know, we just achieved a historic peace agreement with Iran to end
JD and Gavin are tied right now, guys. 148 votes in the live chat. 36 minutes until the runoff. We are going to go into hour 2, most likely. But right now, they're tied.
the conflict in the Strait of Hormuz. And by the way, yesterday, 19
As a Chicagoan, you're
million
a total liar.
barrels of
As a
oil
Chicagoan,
flowed
you're
out of the
fucking
Strait
gay.
of Hormuz, a very beautiful place.
Fucking went on.
That's the most oil in the history of the Strait. No, it's never been any, you've never seen anything like that. It's called an oil gusher. And most importantly, we are ensuring one thing very importantly, because this is why I did it. I did it for this reason, 99% for this. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, and they've agreed to that. But remember, this wasn't easy. We had 47 years worth of
You know what, Shop 970? That might be the most accurate insult that I've heard so far.
presidents.
Except for the
and
third,
other
fourth,
people, other
well, third,
countries.
fourth generation. Yeah, there you go. Actually, that's the most accurate insult I've ever seen of Donald Trump. Third, fourth generation, white collar, family, criminal, organization, grifting. Yes, yes. There you go. You didn't put pedophile in there. You didn't like say he's like stupider than my granddaughter. Like you didn't do all the creepy things. Say he's a rapist. No, you just said the simple facts. You just said third, fourth generation, white collar, family, criminal, organization, grifting.
Too. We're not the only one. That
Bingo!
They were the bully of the Middle East, and now we're leaving Iran with no navy, no air force, no anti-aircraft, no missile capability, no nuclear program.
But instead, we're going to give them $300 billion in food from our farmers.
Leaving them
Ready?
without any nuclear capacity,
we're gonna
and they've
feed them.
agreed to
That's what you
that.
say.
And
No,
we're
we're gonna
getting
feed
along
them.
quite well, although if you read the fake news, you never know. Think of it. The fake news, they have no army, they have no
Words cannot
navy,
describe
they
this
have
man.
no
That
air
is
force,
true
they have no
facts.
anti-aircraft. We can fly over Tehran just at will.
Guitar
Nobody
training
going to do
pants.
anything to us. And then I read the fake news that they're doing quite well. They're not doing quite well.
Guys, are we ready for the
Look
war
at all of
update?
them. Whoa.
You want a war
Whoa.
update today?
Whoa! That's a lot of
See if we
press.
got
That's
some
almost
first.
as much press as Bo had at the White House last week when he knocked out his opponent in the first round. Right? I think you had more. Bo had more press. But the Iran economy has been crushed and their defense industrial base has been damaged so severely that it'll take them many years to rebuild, many, many years. And now we're trying to work out a deal that's fair.
All right, here we go. Let's start it up. Remember, guys, our number one news source for the war and for up-to-date information around the world right now is Mo News, M-O-S-H-E-H on Instagram, Mo News around the world. He is a Emmy Award-winning former executive producer of CBS News, Fox News, and Bloomberg. And our first piece of news today is about alligator Alcatraz from CBS News. Alligator Alcatraz will be shut down ASAP. Florida is shutting down the controversial immigrant detention center known as Alligator Alcatraz after a facility estimated cost ballooned to $1.2 billion, and expected federal reimbursements remained tied up in legal and environmental challenges. State contractors were notified Monday to begin dismantling the facility, ending a high-profile experimental championed by Governor Ron DeSantis and President Trump. All right, you guys, come on. That was a fucking waste of money. Get off the reflecting pool. Get on the Alligator Alcatraz, because what a fucking waste of money. Opened last July in Florida, Everglades, the 5,000-bed detention center processed more than 22,000 migrants, according to DeSantis. The facility drew sharp criticism from immigration advocates, lawyers, and human rights groups, including Amnesty International, over alleged mistreatment and harsh living conditions. Officials said that the remaining detainees were transferred or deported last week. The site is expected to be fully demobilized within days. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, it's World Cup stuff. We don't need to do that right now. Norway beats Senegal 3-2 on Monday. Back in Norwegian Parliament, Rose on the way. At least 5 people were arrested allegedly tampering with the reflecting pool, officials said NBC News. At least 5 people have been arrested in connection with the alleged vandalism of the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. An administration official said Monday as President Donald Trump threatened long prison terms for offenders. Have you guys seen the video? There's a video out there of a lady with it. In a couple of cases, it doesn't appear there is any evidence that people did anything more than touch items floating in the water. The 5 arrests and citations to 5 additional individuals came in the wake of Trump saying Saturday, with no evidence so far, that vandals at the reflecting pool cut a 250-foot-long gash into the beautiful facade of what took so much work, competence, and money to build and complete. Among those arrested was former U.S. Olympic canoeist David Harnt, who previously told NBC News he was detained for 5 hours Friday after touching a piece of detached, coated, reflecting pool paint. He faces the potential of 10 years in prison. Okay, we need to chill out on this, guys. Like, Republicans need to stop lying, fix the reflecting pool, be done with it. That's fucking insane. Primary day in New York. Eli Lilly gave extraordinary obesity drug access to 79-year-old patient. Who was it? Eli Lilly's highly anticipated obesity drug retreated, which was shown weight loss. I don't care about that. 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 Ronaldo makes World Cup history with 2-goal effort in Portugal route to Uzbekistan. Ronaldo sucks. Messi's the GOAT. Savannah Guthrie pleads for tips about the disappearance of her mother Tuesday as we learn about random note saying her mother was killed. 2 hours ago, Anthony Fauci has been subpoenaed to testify publicly before the Senate next month. The move comes amid renewed scrutiny over COVID-19's origins following the release of documents by former Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, which she says raised questions about efforts to downplay the lab leak theory. Fauci is accused of lying to Congress about what he knows about the Wuhan and the COVID lab leak. 2 hours ago, CBS News, the Senate adapts House-passed Iran resolution in symbolic rebuke of Trump. The Senate on Tuesday approved a House-passed War Powers resolution on Iran, delivering the most significant bipartisan rebuke yet of the confrontation. The measure doesn't carry the force of law and doesn't require the president's signature, meaning it is largely symbolic. What the fuck? We're past a bill, but we also don't need his signature because it's not a real thing. Anyway, here's what our vote was. In a 50-48 vote for Republican, Susan Collins, remember, the Nazi from the Democratic Nazi guy with the mustache, much better than Susan Collins, Bill Cassidy, guy who got primaried and is an apex supporter and is trying to take down RFK and is like super pro-vaccine bullshit. Lisa Murkowski, we all know what's going on there with fucking Alaska, and Rand Paul. So Rand Paul can go and do whatever the fuck he wants to do. Joined the bulk of Senate Democrats in support of a measure. One Democrat, Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, opposed the bill. Ooh, Fetterman feeling the fentanyl effects. Hey-o! Two Republicans did not vote. The resolution directs the president to remove the United States Armed Forces from hostilities against the Islamic Republic of Iran unless Congress declares war or authorizes the use of military force. 2 hours ago, the U.S. and Iran agreed to nuclear inspections behind closed doors. Iran says publicly they didn't. Trump says Iran is wrong and the deal is dead if they don't let in inspectors. Washington Post 2 hours ago, U.S. officials have repeatedly said that Iran is being misleading in its public account of the ongoing talks. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told reporters Tuesday that Iranian statements were driven by domestic politics as Iranian negotiators tried to appear tough and hardliners. We know what they agreed to do, and now they'll either do it or they won't, Rubio said as he arrived in Dubai, UAE, to see Arab Gulf allies Tuesday. If they do, the process moves forward. If they don't, the president will have some decisions to make. Iran had been subject to regulation inspections under the nuclear non-proliferatory treaty and agreed to more intensive monitoring under the Obama nuclear deal that Trump frequently condemns. After Trump terminated the agreement in 2018, Iran blocked IAEA access to some sites while some inspections continued. Since June of 2025, Iran has prohibited the inspections from visiting sites anywhere. That's actually worse than, ain't it? And then an hour ago, new Trump tell-all is out. The 5 biggest revelations from regime change. Okay, and this new tell-all is from Maggie Haberman. I don't even fucking know who the fuck. Some PA or some shit. Back to Trump.
We also want to work out a deal. You know, the stock market hit a new high today again. And oil, for the first time in months, hit, think of it, $70 a barrel. So we got it 70. That equates to a very low price. That oil is going to come charging down. And with oil comes everything else. Because I inherited from these Democrats. You know, they're Democrats. I changed the E for a U. It's very simple, Democrats. I don't know why I didn't think of that 9 years ago.
Why does he think it's so smart?
I just thought of it about a month ago.
It's
they're
not that
Democrats
smart.
because their policies are so dumb. Men and women's sports. You know, Bo is with one of the great champions, Tony.
Right, but
could you have taken...
If he keeps leveraging himself on old ideals of what Democrats were running on, and then the Democrats come out in the midterms and they're like, we're anti-data center, and all their ads are like, we're anti-data center, we're anti-war, and we're trying to stop Israel. And Trump's over here like, the Democrats are actually out here trying to make girls transgender sports stuff. Like, yo, you need to adapt to the times, my guy.
Most women in the heavyweight chair. He was the
We
heavyweight
won.
champion.
We already won that one.
You think you
Quit
would have had
gloating.
trouble with a woman of approximately
Men's
your
and women's
size?
sports ain't happening.
Be hard to find a woman
Even the
of your
Olympics,
size.
we're not letting it happen.
If we did,
won.
I think you would have been okay. What
Move
do you
on.
think, Bo? Could he have handled it? I think so. What about you, Bo? Could you handle a woman of approximately your, 182 or something? Think there's a 182-pounder that could give you a little tussle? I don't think so. I don't think so. He's such a nice guy. He said, no, not really. I don't think so. When she looked at those ears of Bo,
That's weird too. When people scream "I love you" at him like he's a fucking beetle, that's weird.
looked at those ears, she'll say,
Imagine being married to the lady that's screaming "I love you" to Donald Trump.
She'll say, I'm not going to fight that guy. The average price of gasoline nationwide is down 60 cents a gallon just from a short while ago. And remember this. Remember this. We had to make this detour. We had to go to Iran. You can't let them blow up the Middle East and then us, if that's possible. We would have gotten them before, but they would have blown up Israel. They would have blown up the entire Middle East. You can't let that. You want to see a bad economy? That's a bad economy. So, but remember that our oil in the middle of this conflict was less than it was for Sleepy Joe Biden. And we're putting out a fire. Biden, Clinton, Bush, all of them.
Why am I not wearing a
Barack
shirt?
Hussein Obama. Have you heard of
Because this is my largest stream I've ever had. So you guys obviously like my sexy fat ass. So I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna keep going shirtless because y'all keep wanting no shirt. Obviously,
him? Have you heard of Barack Hussein Obama? None of them did anything.
that's what got the algorithms here.
Obama gave them
Here's
1.7
my
billion in
fucking
green
Toy Story
cash.
3
Remember, at a 747,
swag.
they flew over piles of cash. 1.7 billion dollars. Gave them hundreds of billions of dollars and thought they could bribe them into peace. No, the only thing they understand is what these guys in the front row understand is the hammer. Because if you look at what we did to their nuclear capacity with those beautiful B-2 bombers, that was truly a hammer. In fact, we named it a hammer.
Nasty.
Operation Hammer.
Sorry.
But our economy is ready to
This is what it
soar
is.
to levels the world has not seen before. I believe
Sorry.
that, David. I think it's going to levels that nobody's ever seen before. All these factories are being built, and they're going to be occupied, and they're hiring people now. And it's going to be something very beautiful. I don't know who's going to follow me, but remember that I was the one that did it, okay? Somebody's going to walk into office, and they're going to have the most successful country in history, and they're going to be
Put
bragging
it
what a
down,
great
I'll be
job they
back.
did.
You'll be the only one back here.
And we did it.
Everybody else wants me shirtless. Sorry.
In 4 long years
So
of the crooked Joe Biden administration, they got less than $1 trillion of new investments. So think of it, Crooked Joe. What do you like better, Sleepy Joe or Crooked Joe? Ready? Sleepy Joe. Crooked Joe.
What the fuck are you doing? The sitting president of the United States, everybody.
I'm surprised. I like Sleepy Joe better, but Crooked Joe. They're both good. I use them both. But in less than 1 year,
Crooked Joe.
so they did much less than $1 trillion of investment from outside the world. Much less than 1 trillion. We just have the final. We had 11 months at 18, but we just got the final. $19.1 trillion in 12 months. Can you believe it? Investment
It's a lot of time. It's a fun
from
time.
all over the globe.
Guys, double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, send people into the algorithm for the poll of the day, as it is every single day on this show. We are live every single day at 5 p.m. Central Time with at least 1 hour of news. We're at least going into hour 2, potentially even a third hour, because every 10,000 of you that hit the live chat, we go into another hour of news, guys. And right now, our first hour of the poll tonight, we have Gavin Newsom 34%, JD Vance 41%. Those are the two going to the runoff right now. Get your votes in. Why did it do the like celebration thingy? I don't know. What did I do there? How did I do that? Yay.
And since the election, the stock market has set
Mike, don't spam. Don't spam, my
73
guy.
all-time records. In other words, yeah, sit down. We got plenty of time here. It's an honor that you're all standing. Oh, look who we have, the Wall. Stand up, Wall. Look at this guy. Oh, I'm going to get a suit just like that guy.
The poll has no good
I'll bet
answers,
he's
so I
been
don't
to
vote.
200 rallies.
Yeah.
Him
You're the
and
person that doesn't vote.
where are my guys? Oh, look at my guys, front row Joes. I got these front row Joes. And where are the women from North Carolina? They're here. They travel all over the world. I don't know what the hell's with their husbands. These beautiful women from North Carolina. They travel all over. They went to 200 rallies. How many
Says the
rallies
spamming
have
with
front row
cards.
Joes gone to?
They'll count
Hundreds.
so much we can fill our pool
Everyone.
with tortillas.
And then it was very sad. My last rally, I said, I may never see you again, right? And then we won the election in a landslide. And who the hell do I see? I see my front row Joes. So I'm happy about that. Thank you. What a group. We had some group. We'd be all over the place. And when they didn't make the front row, it was very demeaning to them. They were not happy, right? But the front row, they became actually very famous, front row Joes. And the typical 401k, as you know, is up almost $30,000 in It was 12 months. It was 13 months. It's up 44%. Think of that. Up 44%.
Wow, 44. Wow.
Because,
The
you know,
percentages
as
really
goes the
mean
stock
something to me
market,
in my life.
so goes a lot of your own wealth. And I tell about this police officer. I met a police officer first time, similar thing, but now the numbers are even more. I was in New York. I met a great police officer, New York finest. And he said, sir, I want to thank you. I said, for what? He said, my wife didn't think much of me, very much. We were having marital difficulty, actually. She thought I was nothing. I'm a police officer. I'm a tough guy. I looked at him. The muscles were all over the place. He didn't suffer from that. But she thought maybe that muscle wasn't so good because he was always losing money in the stock market. And he said, sir, in the last year and a half, my 401k is up 74%, sir. And she thinks I'm Warren Buffett. She thinks I'm a super genius. I said, how are you getting along with her? He said, well, I'm not so sure I like her anymore, but I won't tell you that. I refuse to say that. He's getting along just fine. But a lot of people have come to me, David, and they thanked us. 401ks, you know, the stock market. Who has a 401k here? Yeah, look, a lot of people. More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country, and we've created over 32 now. Think of this: 32,000 new jobs just starting in Pennsylvania alone.
Wow,
David, you have to get credit for that.
What's up? What's up? You don't like my look?
And in the last few months alone, we've added 2,600 Pennsylvania manufacturing jobs, and that number is going to go much, much higher as the factories start to open. Because right here in Lehigh Valley, Eli Lilly has just announced, great company, by the way, drug company, a $3.5 billion investment in a brand new state-of-the-art manufacturing facility right down the road. That's going to create over 1,000 jobs, just that one. Nokia is investing $30 million to expand its semiconductor testing and packaging operations, thousands of jobs. And B. Braun has announced a $20 million expansion of its medical device manufacturing operation in Allentown.
This is from today.
Allentown.
This is from today.
I love any place that votes for me, which is the entire
2 hours
state
ago,
of Pennsylvania. The entire Commonwealth. Never make the mistake of using the word state. Although I'm not sure that people care, but the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania voted for us at levels that nobody's ever seen before, David, and you too. And we're proud of you because you had guts. This man had guts. He lost one time to a tough candidate. Then he did it again to a tougher candidate. And I tell him, if he didn't win, his wife, who's a beautiful woman, would have left him. I'm telling you.
Make sure you double tap, hit, woo! Double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, send people into the algorithm for our poll of the day, as it is every single day on the show, with 14 minutes left in our first round. Definitely going into an hour 2 of overtime. JD Vance and Gavin Newsom are the two that are going into the runoff.
Dina, she would have left him, so he had great courage doing it a second time. He was a very successful guy. He ran. Stand up, David. She would have left. I was so worried because he's a friend of mine, and that was a tough race. You know, he was running against a guy 24 years, and his father was in for like 30 years. That's a long time, and he had to beat him knowing the pressure. Let's go pressure. Knowing his wife was gone if he didn't make it. She was gone to 100%.
Baby duck killer in your filthy pond.
He's married actually to a terrific woman.
Bro,
she
the pond ain't
probably
as
would
bad
have
as them
stayed.
closing
I'm not
alligator
100%
Alcatraz after a year.
And last year I saved a great American company, U.S. Steel, and we're keeping its headquarters in Pennsylvania where it belongs. And $17 billion has been invested by a great company in saving U.S. Steel. They were gone. I think they were closed up and they were ready to go. And now they're building factories like nobody's ever seen. They're expanding the operations and building a couple of brand new steel plants. They're up to over $17 billion, which is a lot more than they even told us, because they've fallen in love with this Commonwealth. They've fallen in love with your whole area, the people. I think they've fallen in love with the people more than anything else is what they told me, because they've done more than they said they would.
No respect
and
for the
thanks to our
president.
great Republican
You didn't vote
majorities
for him,
in
respect the
Congress
office.
last 4th of July, I proudly
say that
signed
at
the
least.
largest tax cuts in
What else you
American
can have your own
history. We
opinions?
gave you the biggest tax
I
cuts
think you shouldn't be TDS
in American history.
That's so. You're making yourself look
Not
crazy.
bad. Not bad. We delivered no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great Pennsylvania seniors. No tax. And our tax cuts are projected to boost take-home pay for Pennsylvanians by an average of more than $10,000 a year per household. Think of that. Not bad. That alone should win us the midterms. We got to win the Muser. We got to win the Muser's another great guy. Stand-up Muser. Been with me forever.
TDS is real. Trump does suck. TDS isn't real.
He was thinking about running for
Nor is
governor. I
MAGA.
think he would have
They're
won,
both
but he was
made-up
thinking
things.
about running for governor. And I said, I want
exist.
you to stay in Congress. I want you to stay. And we appreciate it. You've done a great job. But always remember, every single Democrat in Congress voted against our tax cuts. So think of it. All of those tax cuts and many more, they want to raise your taxes, not lower them. They voted against tax cuts. You know, all my life, I sort of been political in that I found it very interesting. I was a very successful real estate person, but I love watching politics. And my whole life, I've watched politicians say, we will cut your taxes, we will cut. I never heard these people say, we will raise your taxes. This country has gotten very strange politically, especially with all the communists that are up for election. You know, you have communists. These aren't socialists, these are communists. And they're all up. How about the guy in Maine? He's got the Nazi.
Yeah, you mean the guy that's like literally better than Susan Collins? Like, remember, Susan Collins voted against the war, bro.
These stickers, he's got the whole deal.
Why are you
and
trying
they're
to support Susan
that's
Collins?
So,
Shut
for
up.
8 years, 10 years, they said Trump is a Nazi. Now they can't say that anymore because they have a guy with a tattoo on his chest. It's unbelievable. But they voted against no tax on Social Security. They voted against no tax on tips. They voted against no tax on overtime, and if they got into office, you will have all of those taxes and all of that money that you're saving, including the big savings on Social Security. It's going to all be terminated. You're going to have to start paying it. They want to pay it. I don't know
Yes,
what's wrong with
I
these
actually
people.
do.
They voted in favor of.
Yes, I'm happy with a Nazi guy being elected and anyone else new being elected. I'm happy with every single incumbent losing because they all went on vacation, and I'm not as retarded as all of you. I don't forget these things. They all went on vacation. They all don't get a second chance. Nazi guy hasn't been a fucking House rep yet or a senator. He's actually going for a senator. So Nazi guy hasn't been a senator yet. So I'm going to give Nazi guy a try because Susan Collins has been a senator for quite some fucking time, and she hasn't done shit.
The estate tax or the death tax on your farms and your businesses. You know, farmers and small business people, they love
It's that
their
simple,
children.
people. Incumbents
They love
lose.
them. It's great. Most of the people love them. Some can't stand. I
Promise
know people
us
that
the
can't
world
stand
and they
their kids
lie.
are not going to leave them 10 cents. But if you love your child, you want to leave your farm, especially from these farmers. It's born in them somehow. They want to have their children on the farm. The children don't want to leave, but sometimes they're land rich and cash poor. You know, I've known that expression too. I've oftentimes been land rich and cash poor. It's not a
Yeah, sure, exactly. It's a shame we don't get to pick good people. But again, if my choices are person who went on vacation and currently had a chance to do the job and is now going to campaign all of October promising me shit while they could do something right now, versus Nazi lobster farmer. Well, let's see what he can do. Let's see what he can do.
good period of time. And you die and you have a estate and they tax you at 40, 50, 60%. And they end up losing their farm, losing their small business. And in many cases, you don't read about this, they commit suicide. They actually go out and commit suicide because they're forced off their farm by a bank. They have to go out and borrow money from a bank. And they're forced to go out, borrow the money. They're unable to pay the loan, and the bank, even if it's a nice bank, they give them a chance, they give them another chance, and then they ultimately foreclose, they lose everything. And in many cases, they commit suicide. And I said, we're not going to have that crap go on. So you have no estate tax to pay on your small farm, small business, on your farms, your businesses. And you can, if you love your children, you can leave your farm or your small business to your child, and they're not going to lose it. If you don't
Hey, chat, how many of you own a farm?
love your children, then don't listen to what I'm saying, because it doesn't matter. You should, if you don't
Oh,
like them, don't leave them.
not
They
worked
have-
on,
they
not
probably deserve-
own a farm.
But think of it, the Democrats voted against the border wall. The border wall gave us the safest border. We have the safest border now in the history of the country. They voted against voter ID. You know why they voted against voter ID? Because they want to cheat. There's only one reason, Mr. Wall, right?
I believe that one.
Correct. Correct. Where do I get that suit? One day, I don't know if it's very presidential, I'm going to walk up in a suit with the design of the wall on it. I don't know. What do you think? I already have a lot. You know, I have a very elegant wife, and she says, darling, please, please, don't dance. It's not presidential. I said, but the people love it when I dance at them.
Border is under control now.
And she said, please, please, the men and women's sports, please don't do the weightlifting thing. And don't do the swimming thing. You know, the weightlifter where he goes up and the record stood for years and years, years. And this young lady, she's trying out for the Olympics and she's going to do it. And the record stood for 19 years, and they put an eighth of an ounce on one side, an eighth of an ounce on the other. They have to understand, Melania, who's now a movie star, she got the #1.
Because Congress hasn't acted on anything for years, bro.
That's not good. There can only be one star in a family. Please remember that. But they put a little eighth, like a feather on one side, a little bit, just to break the record. The parents are sitting right there where Big Bo is. He's a nasty guy, that punch he threw. Ay, ay, ay. Got to be very nice to Bo. I got to be very nice. Got to make sure he's never angry at.
Guys, make sure you double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, send people into the algorithm for our poll of the day, as it is every single day with 868 days until the election. Right now, we're going to go into an hour 2 overtime in 5 minutes. But right now, our two that are going into that runoff, J.D. Vance and Gavin Newsom.
But she said her parents are right there in the front, and they're so
5
proud.
minutes
The father's
till
not so
hour
proud 'cause he
2
knows she's
overtime.
not going to do it.
And
'Cause
no
she's a
news is
woman.
news.
It's a lot of weight. The mother, though, is screaming, darling, I love you. Do it. And she gets over the weights, and she stands there. And then she gets him, and she gets him. And the mother's screaming, darling, I love you, darling. Go. And the father's looking, saying she has no chance. And she's like this, you see it?
What's make the president?
Drops him. And she's like devastated for the rest of her life. And then a guy comes along who transitioned. That's the term. I've gotten very good at that term. I used to take a lot of heat for my definition of the movement over. But he transitioned. He was a poor, very poor, bottom of the line, male weightlifter. But now he's a female weightlifter. And he looked at the amount. I think it was like 210 pounds or something
JD,
like that. Well,
just
that's
dick?
a lot
Is
for a
that
woman.
a compliment or a-
But not that much for a man. You could do it with one hand.
Just
And he
dick.
goes, looks down at the weight.
All dick, no man. J.D. Vance.
Did it. I think he did a few things for emphasis. And he won the medal. And everyone said, oh, isn't that wonderful? Are we crazy? Men should not be able to participate in women's sports.
Being an American is fantastic, especially this fucking year.
Right?
250's been amazing.
That's a 99% issue. Do you ever hear the fake news? They say, that's an 80-20 issue. No, it's not. It's 99-1. You know, I've been doing politics now for 10 years. Not that long, considering I've won 3 elections. You know, so I done. But we did great in the second one. It was a rigged deal. But pretty short. But with all of that, and all of the time I spent speaking to people, they say, sir, could you cut taxes on this? Could you get me a tax deduction on a car loan? I did that. By the way, I did that. If you borrow money to buy a car, you got to do all these things. They asked me for hundreds of things. Not once did anyone ever come up to me and say, sir, please, this is so vital. You have to be able to have men play in women's sports. Please, sir, could you pull that off? I've never had anyone ask me for that. So I say it's a 99-1 issue, not 80-20. The fake news.
Right,
back
we already
there, they
won
say,
it.
Oh, that's a
Well, that's
tight
kind of
issue.
the problem.
But I don't like
You're
talking
just
about
talking
it
about shit you already
because
won.
I want them
When it comes to the
continue
elections, we're
on
not
with
going to be
that.
worried about that.
I want them to continue
Not going to
on
the
with
booth
the
going.
You know,
Gotta
they're in
protect them
favor of
women
the
in sport.
Mutilization of your child for transgender purposes. The mutilization of your child. And I would say politically, it's a very good thing to run against a person that's in favor
Happy
of that
Pride
kind of
Month.
stuff.
See, that's the perfect
so
example.
We let them,
Half of us
we
don't
don't
even
bring it
fucking
up
know it's
during
Pride
off
Month, bro.
political seasons, but we have a political season coming
should
up.
show you the issues
And they'll be
over.
doing all of that nonsense, and they're going to lose a lot of elections. And now, if you look at New York, we have all communists running. They're all excited. They're going to win their primaries, but I can't imagine they can beat a normal Republican. So I think it's a good thing, Muser. What do you think? I think it's a good thing. Wouldn't you like to run against somebody like that? Well, Shapiro's not that much better, to be honest with you, but I won't say. They're all being forced. They're all being forced. A guy like Shapiro, he's going to be forced to the left. Otherwise, he's not going to get the nomination. But they voted against proof of citizenship. Think of it. We'd like to have proof of citizenship. You walk into the voting booth. Would it be okay, sir, if I looked at you and said, how dare you ask me for my citizenship? You know, in California, if you ask that question to a voter, you are criminally liable. In other words, they can put you in jail. If you say, sir, do you have proof of citizenship? They put you in jail if they ask that question. You're not allowed to ask that. Did you know that? It's the craziest thing I've ever seen going on. Hey, did they screw the kid, Pratt? Boy.
Did they screw the kid, Pratt?
And all of a sudden he's lost.
Bro is scrambling. So he said one bad thing about the governor of Pennsylvania, and everybody took a turn on him. And now bro is like flailing. He's like, "Yo, y'all see how they destroyed that Pratt kid, bro?"
And it was sort of interesting. The election. You ever see an election where it's 2.5 weeks in? An election that takes weeks to count the votes, but after the evening, it looked like he was going to win or certainly be in the runoff. And then I started hearing rumors as the days went by, days and days went by, that Pratt is fading. He's fading. I said, they rigged the election. And then lo and behold, he didn't qualify, even though he was so far up in the third place person that it was...
We will get back to this in a second, guys, but our poll, our first hour, is done. We are going into hour 2. We're going into overtime. If you don't have YouTube Premium, boom, you're getting sent an ad. Thank you guys so much for watching, staying tuned, help and support the channel. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, get people into the algorithm for our poll of the day. Who will be president in 2028 with 868 days until election? And we are going into hour 2. JD Vance is in the lead, but he's in a runoff right now with 33 wins up against Mr. Gavin Newsom. And Gavin Newsom's got 13 wins. Guys, we're already at 24,000, so we will be going to hour 3 as long as we stay above 50 in the live chat today. Thank you guys so much for staying tuned. Let's get back to Daddy Trump.
It's almost impossible, and he didn't qualify. And then it started happening with the next candidate, Steve Hilton, who's running for governor. He was up in front, just about leading.
People at Penn
no
like Shapiro, that's
and
for
all
sure.
of a sudden,
They did
about
not
4 or
like
5
that.
days
That
after,
tried to
this is after the
diss on
election's
Shapiro.
over.
They didn't like
They
that
said,
part.
Steve Hilton is starting to lose votes. I said, here we go again. And I called up the U.S. Attorney in California. They said, we're going to have a number in the next week. Next week. I called up the very powerful, very good U.S. Attorney in California, and I said, do me a favor. Take a look. They're trying to steal that election, too. I guess they called up. They said, this is the U.S. Attorney call. We have your great U.S. Attorney here today, by the way, and your assistant U.S. Attorney. They're doing great. David, thank you. But so over the next week, he was definitely going to lose, but the U.S. Attorney called. We want to check your votes. About an hour after the call, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Hilton has won. So had I not made that call, Steve Hilton would right now be watching the election from home. So I don't know, you know, he would have a great chance, but the election's totally rigged. California's totally rigged. All mail-in ballots. It's a disgrace. We got to pass the Save America Act, okay? Got to pass. You gotta pass Save America, you, McGee. Look at these guys. What love.
Newscomb
A
was
friend
in
of mine is a
favor of
very big real
the
estate
Nick Shirley
developer,
Act,
but he's
not
got a
presidential
problem with speaking in front of crowds. He
material
chokes. You know,
at
he
all.
chokes like a dog. He said, "How do you do it?" I say, "It's easy because there's so much love in the room. There's so much unbelievable love. It's easy to do. You know." No, he's got this tremendous fear of speaking. He said, "The guy's a major player. Most of you have heard of him, and he's a killer. He destroys people for a living." Financially, not physically, financially. Physically, he can barely walk. He's a basket case. But he's up here, he's very smart. And he destroys people. He's very rich, but he can't get up in front of a crowd and talk. I said, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "I don't know, I have a fear of crowds." Do you believe it? All sorts of people. You know, a lot of people want to do what I did. A lot of people, well, David did it. David was very successful, but he's a great speaker. But a lot of people, they say, well, Trump became president. From being a very successful businessman, he became president. I want to do it too.
All you need is love.
And that's when they find out that they might have the flaw of
I lived in
speaking,
California
or
my
even
whole life.
worse, is
Gavin
a
is scum.
terrible past. You know,
But
the
is
past
he
will come out to haunt
presidential
you.
scum?
It's not an easy thing
That
to
is the
do, but I love it.
question.
You know, I say it's real easy to do when you have people that love you. I guarantee, who here voted for Trump?
No, I'm just at a Trump rally.
Who didn't? What? This is dangerous. So don't
didn't?
raise your hand. Think you're going to
Not
be
true.
cute. 'Cause
Nobody's gonna say that. They're gonna get shot.
you might be in big problem. Then they'll blame me for causing problems. Who did not vote for Trump?
Yeah.
Young man, he wants to be. He's a young man. He thinks he's being cute. As he gets pounded on. Now he just said, "No, I did. I was the first." He said, "I'm the first to elect." But the Democrats voted in favor of
the
Iran
dumbest
having a
thing I've
nuclear
ever seen in my
weapon,
life.
and they voted against military spending. But I overrode that. Let me tell you, if the Democrats get in, your 15,000 trucks that Mr. Roy is looking to get are dead. They're not going to have 15,000. They're not.
Let me tell you guys, instead of seeing us all at a Trump rally inside cheering about this particular truck company, if the Democrats get back in charge, then we'll have car honking Jeep Cherokee Joe Biden back. All right, guys? It'll be all their cars instead of our cars. It's all same fucking people. Same rich people doing the same rich shit.
Can have 15 trucks. They'll be back to the number I originally guessed, right? 50 you're making, 15? 15,000 trucks will be down to nothing, zero. And they'll make you put electric on it, you know, electric, so that when you're in the middle of a jungle someplace and you need a charge, where's my charging booth? As opposed to carrying a nice tank of diesel on your back, throwing it in and taking off, right? Where's my charging booth, they'll be saying. They created the strongest military in history, and you see that with Venezuela. Venezuela went.
Guys, make sure you double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, send people into the algorithm for our poll of the day, as it is every single day on this show with 868 days until the election, 55 minutes remaining in the show. J.D. Vance is currently your next president of the United States of America.
Day operation, like, great. Good army. And now we're making a lot of money with Venezuela, and Venezuela's doing great also. It's a happy country now. But it took us exactly 48 minutes to win that war. We have the greatest military in the world, 48 minutes. And we've paid for the cost of the war, where do you hear this? 28 times already. More, but 28 times. So the cost of the war, we've already, because we brought millions of barrels of oil out. And we're getting along great. The people running it are people. They're great people.
Stop watching The View.
And the people are happy in the country. They have smiles. They were miserable. They were starving.
Okay.
But they have a lot of oil under that
What
ground.
you're
You know how
doing
you
is illegal by international law.
Just look at the ground.
Shut up.
You'll see oil
Shut up.
bubbling up. They have so much oil.
Ain't no fucking international
They don't know what
law.
to do with it, but they had a bad system. They're making more money
My
now
law,
for the country
bitch.
than they've ever made before, and we're making a lot
All
of
right,
money
Mike.
too.
Well, you can call me fat
But
all you
also
like,
Iran,
but
we
you
knocked
cannot
them
make
out.
political
1 week, it was
assassination jokes on a
essentially
political
militarily
show.
over. Much
So with
bigger
that
country,
said,
91 million people.
we're going to go ahead and
And
do a
much
24-hour
different
timeout on Mike
ideology.
because he's a
The
giant piece of shit.
ideology of the Muslims is slightly different than the ideology of the Catholics.
Oh, there's
We
another
have
one
the
for you.
Catholics and the Muslims.
None of your business.
Slightly different. But
86-47.
Venezuela's
All right,
been great
guys.
and Iran's been
We're really
great.
loving this one
they're
today, aren't we?
reasonable if they're
We're just
smart.
wanting to get kicked out.
Otherwise,
Bitch
we'll have to
slap like
finish
little
the
fucking
job, which will
Democrats
take
you are.
about
Boo!
maybe
Bye.
less than a week.
See you
But
tomorrow.
they're going to be okay, I think. They're going to do what they have to do because we want to have it done.
Vegas has Gavin
But
winning.
they voted against lower energy
Vegas
prices.
doesn't have
The
Gavin winning.
Democrats did, and then they
Vegas
went
has
on to
JD
create the
winning 'cause
highest
that's what we
energy
go off of,
prices that
which
we've
is
ever had in the
culture.
history of our country. People don't realize that. Much higher than ours
Vegas
during the
can't
war.
bet on the president. Only prediction
They had the
markets can.
highest inflation in history. The highest
Dumbass.
inflation in history. They say 48 years, but that's sort of history as far as I'm concerned. And they were absolutely terrible on affordability.
Who is this big bucket of shit hosting? Name is in the bio, bro. Name is
Remember, I
in
got
the
here,
handle.
my first day, the fake news is screaming at me.
The commies are
"What
out
about
today. They really
affordability?"
are.
I'm only here one day. Remember, eggs were up about 5 times higher than they ever were. And we have prices are coming down right now at levels that you've never
Too
seen.
much
And now
shrapnel
with
in the
oil
primaries?
crashing, you're going to see something really amazing. And
But
to
who's
top
gonna come above 'em,
everything
then?
else, they let 25 million people
You
into
really
our
think it's gonna
country.
be like an
Many of
AOC?
them
She gets like
criminals and
8%
thugs
afterwards.
and people from
Oh
mental
shit! Some dude just fucking passed out. Why does somebody always die at these things?
institutions and
Don't
drug
go to
dealers.
political rallies. Somebody always dies.
They even let 11,888 murderers into our country. Murderers, 11,888.
Bro's just continuing to talk as like somebody is dying.
More than 50% of which have killed more than one person. And I've gotten the worst of them out. We've gotten them out, Tom Homan and our whole group of people.
You love Kamala Harris, just watch. Turn around and do that. You're right, man.
But the
No way.
Democrats want
No
open
way.
borders and they want them all to come back in. You can imagine that. The people of this Commonwealth
I
will
think
never
she's gonna
let
go
that
the route
happen
of Hillary.
again.
She's not
What
gonna
they
even try it.
allowed to happen to our country, we can never allow to happen again. As an example, the war with Russia and Ukraine would have never, ever started if I were president. We can never let elections get rigged again. But we're pleased to be joined today by one of those Pennsylvanians who's
Google it, bro.
benefiting from the
Vegas
historic
odds have
tax
Newsom
cuts,
winning. No,
Sergeant
why don't you
Sam
Google it, bro?
Elias.
Why don't you Google the logic of what you're saying? You cannot bet in a gambling market in a casino on the presidential race, you fucking retard. You can bet in a prediction market on who's going to be president, and that's what we go off of every day in our fucking poll. Is the prediction market of Kelchi, the American prediction market, where Americans can put their money, because in poly market you can't do that unless you're overseas. So it's the one place where Americans can actually decide, dollar for dollar, bet for bet, who's going to be president. And in that, J.D. Vance is currently leading it, 18%.
The Bethlehem
Marco
Police
Rubio
Department is
has
great.
been leading it for about 32 days or so. Keep watching the show, hit subscribe, pay attention, you might fucking learn something. Woo!
Ooh, they know him. Sam works the night patrol so that he can help his wife take care of
Whoa,
their 6 beautiful
Arthur,
children during
I'm
the
out.
day.
Yeah.
And
Must
I'm
have hit
told
the
the
wrong
youngest
algorithm
is
for you,
named
dude.
Melania.
Bye,
Can you
retard.
believe that? They named Melania. Where did you come up with that one? After our
Gee,
great
fucking
first
word,
lady.
guys.
So Sam is taking home thousands of dollars extra because of no tax on overtime. And Sam, do you want to come up and say a few words? Come on up.
Wow!
Come
Oh
on
my
up,
god,
Sam.
I'm offended too. Have more and more retards in the chat, guys.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to express my appreciation to President Trump, Congress.
Yeah, why is this guy talking? We don't need that. We don't need to listen to that guy. Why are you talking?
Mr. President, you have the support of almost.
But just as, thank you very much. You know, I just looked at all these pages. I said, oh, we're in trouble. But you know what? That was good.
Yeah, definitely not.
That was a good job. I was a little worried when I saw the pages after page.
You know what I love though?
Very good. Great job.
Holy shit. God damn, they're just fucking, just doing it in the background. Just fucking letting her go in the background. Wow, guys, that's wild. Anyway, what I was gonna say before this lady passed out and walked across the fucking screen is that, yeah, they don't like the word retard. They don't like, I don't say the F word, I guess is what you could call it. I don't use that one unless there's really a time and place for it, because it seems to be overly sensitive, but I use that one in my vocabulary as well. Never have I ever used the N-word. But something that I find fucking hilarious is that, like, instead of just having your own preferences of comfortability of language, people are offended at things, and then when brought into the example of, like, hey, why are you offended at, like, for instance, the word retard? Why, like, you're like, oh my God, you said the R word, I'm out. And then the next person's like, wow, and then nobody says anything. Like, explain why you're so offended. Like, try to educate me on why I shouldn't be calling you guys a bunch of fucking retards. But I'm pretty sure you're just acting like a bunch of fucking retards.
Sam, where's your father? Hello, Pop.
You're setting the
How
bar
are you?
too high, Alex.
Got a
I'm
good
sorry.
boy.
I'm sorry.
Got a good boy. Yeah, taking care of your people. So our administration is also delivering one historic win after another for another group that works a lot of overtime, and that's our great auto workers. We have a lot of auto workers in here today.
Just fucking wheeled the lady out.
But just as I promised, the UAW workers, and we did great with them. You know, Republicans, I don't know, for whatever reason, they don't do like I do. But in the campaign, I ended Biden's insane electric vehicle mandate, that crazy mandate, which meant that in a short while, all cars had to be all electric, and many of them would be built in China and others in foreign countries all over the world. That's what was going to happen, and I stopped that. I ended it.
I think it's because it shows your level of education and empathy towards actual affected inflicted people. Okay. What are the actual inflicted people? Why don't you stop being a retard and start coming out of the woodwork with actual, like, narratives as to why you're offended, rather than like make me guess. Oh, I made you feel uncomfortable. Now let me guess all day. No, pretty sure you're the retard.
My first week in office, I ran on it. And you know what? If you like electric cars, I think that's great. I wouldn't say Elon was thrilled with what I did, but he understood that. But if you like electric cars, I think it's great. But you have to have the right to buy a regular.
It is not my responsibility to find out why you're uncomfortable. It is your responsibility, if you're uncomfortable, to vocalize why you're actually uncomfortable. Like, it's like so much autism in the air, people.
I mean, we have more gasoline than any country anywhere in the world. If you want to have gas, if you want to have a hybrid, you can have whatever the hell you want, including electric. But I terminated Biden's disastrous fuel emission standards that would have crushed Mr. Roy, your company would be crushed if I didn't do that. You wouldn't be bidding on anything, neither would anybody else. It was the most insane environmental regulations ever conceived of by man. It was totally unreasonable and ridiculous. And you can sell trucks for much less money that are now much better trucks that work, that actually work. And we made interest on auto loans, fully tax deductible, but only.
I mean, Diana, you're not wrong. What the hell are Republicans then, huh? Damn, corrupted billionaire, traitor, grifter, pathological liars. Yeah, like, I can go with all of those. And like, this is why you shouldn't play team politics. You should just point out that everybody's just a fucking crazy person.
If you buy a car
MAGA
that
sucks
is
ass.
made
So does
in
TDS.
the USA, otherwise we're not
Stop
interested.
defining Democrats.
Otherwise we're not interested. And I saved the auto manufacturing business in America. We have more auto plants being
I think
built
they're all
today than we've
corrupt
had in
grifters, to be
60
honest.
years, and I think maybe
Pretty sure
ever.
that's what politics is.
And bigger and better.
Pretty sure
They
that's
had
what
one,
we're
a big
watching.
one in a certain state that I love also.
This guy's
I love
the king of it?
A lot of places.
He's good at it.
And they took out this old plant, but it was big. And I said, did you redo it yet? They said, we're not redoing it. We're ripping down and building a brand new one, a beauty. You know the one I'm
Blah,
talking
blah,
about.
blah,
David.
exaggerate, blah, blah,
But
blah.
we're pleased to be
exaggerate,
joined
blah, blah,
today by Pat McHugh, a Marine
Close.
Corps veteran, a great guy who spent 28 years with Mack Trucks. And he leads the cab assembly and serves as
Republican,
new product line launch leader. It's a big
Trump.
deal. And Pat's grandfather
Yeah, well,
worked here,
yeah,
his
well,
dad
I
worked
killed
here,
Tim.
and now his son is working here and doing well.
You're
And they know
going to
how
get a
important it
headache
is to
trying
keep
to educate the left.
manufacturing jobs in
Exactly.
Pennsylvania.
Like they don't
Pat,
even,
say if you-
they don't even show up, y'all. They don't even show up. That's why, like, because most of them, the Europeans, some of the liberal Europeans will, but a lot of the Democrats in America, they don't even show up to the conversation.
Two words, please.
Thank you, Mr. President.
LOL, MAGA educating anyone. Yeah, you calling people MAGA is kind of the problem.
Wow.
Wow, I love Daddy Trump.
They have a.
I
and
love
we're
Daddy
producing-
Trump and I make trucks. Okay,
Choosing
Mr.
to highlight-
Autistic.
Where
I
are you
make
guys?
trucks and
People,
I love
'cause-
Daddy Trump.
That's a good family.
Great
That's a
family.
great family. Great people.
Good Mac family.
They're proud
Hey,
of your
great
company.
family. Yeah, why? Because we're standing in their fucking building. Can we not? Like, can we just turn it down a little bit, guys? Come on.
I want
Great
to also
family.
thank
They're in
two
their
people,
fucking
very
building,
special
duh.
people, because I know them and I know what they do, and it's not easy, but they've done a great job. David Durgan and Timothy Herzog of the UAW
Wait, are they
committee.
not self-identifying
Where are you
as
guys?
MAGA? No, yep, that's the only problem.
Thank you.
No. I mean, yeah, but so
They do a good
What a
job
moronic
representing
statement.
you. Ease up just a little bit so they can get the contract, okay?
Trump is a
Just a
homosexual.
little
He's gay.
bit. Thank you, fellas.
Well, you're gay
Get this
too.
congressman elected. That's
Now
what
what?
you got to do. But we're pleased to be joined
Jonathan and
also
Trump are
by
gay.
Labor
They're gay together.
Secretary Keith
Sue
Sonderling.
me.
Keith, where are you,
What's
Keith?
up? What's up?
Where's Keith? Hi, Keith. Good job.
He retracted it. He retracted it. He's like, nah, I'm not playing this game.
Is he treating you guys good? Is he all right? He better treat you good. A very special guy, somebody that everybody wanted. I have to tell you, everybody wanted him. He's some.
Hey-o,
person who's
Michelle
actually an
Father
astronaut.
jokes.
He went out. He made a lot of money because he's smart, and he's now the NASA
funny that only Democrats
administrator.
call
You
him
saw
Daddy
that
Trump.
rocket 2 months ago up and go around the moon
Only
in
Democrats
record
do?
levels, the furthest any ship has ever flown.
Daddy Trump?
And come back, and he's
They're
working very
upset
heavily on the
whenever I call
moon.
him-
But
call
what
him
he's
Daddy.
done with NASA is
started
amazing.
calling him Daddy
And he's a
Dementia,
very
though,
special
yesterday.
person and a brilliant
Found a way
one.
around.
Jared Isaacman. Jared, thank you. Great job. As well as, I introduced him a little bit only by the name David, because he knows me, and I know him by David. But David McCormick is your senator, and
No
he's
man
a
is my
brilliant
daddy.
person, brilliant businessman.
Pretty sure that's not true.
And he loves the Commonwealth. He
Pretty
loves
sure that's
He
not
loves
true.
Pennsylvania, and this is where he wanted to be.
Immaculate
And he had a
Conception,
rough,
is that
I
what
told
it
you,
was?
he had a rough fight. This is a rough beating, like 24 years, and a father for 24 years. I don't know. I said, I don't know. You sure you know what you're doing, David? But you won, and you won easily. And I'll tell you what, you have a great senator, one of the best in the country. So I just want to thank you very much, David. Thank you.
Guys, double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, send people into the algorithm for our poll of the day, as it is every single day on this show. With 40 minutes left of our show, JD Vance is currently your next president of the United States of America. Bet your daddy
And
hates
4
your guts too.
warriors for Pennsylvania.
No,
in
I'll have
Congress. He's
dad.
the Warriors. Lloyd Smucker is here. Lloyd, thank
I
you.
won't.
Thank you.
I've never heard of one.
John Joyce
Men
is
disgust
here.
me.
John, thank you. Dan Muser is here. Thank you.
Dan Puser. Dan
And these
Maneris.
guys are all in good shape, but we got to get Ryan McKenzie elected. We got to get Ryan. I'm not here for them. I'm here for him. We got to get Ryan elected. Run up here, Ryan, fast. Nobody wants to hear you. Come on, just run up. Nobody wants to hear you, Ryan. do what David did. He'd go up for 1 minute. Thank you very much, everybody. It's nice to be here. And everybody thought he was the greatest speaker. Okay.
Love equals TDS. My father passed away years ago.
Well, Mr. President, I can't thank you enough for
Daddy.
coming here to the Lehigh Valley, highlighting
Aw,
the
look
brave
at the
men
short
and
guy.
women of Mack Trucks, doing all the work that you do in Washington, D.C. for our veterans, our first responders, and everybody across this country to continue to maintain America as the greatest country in the world. You are the president that is fighting for all Americans. Thank you for being here, sir.
That was a good call. He didn't go up there and just say thank you. He fucking stuck to his gun on that one. That was good.
That's great. Wow.
Thanks again
That's
for
great.
the normal people.
He
and
learned
who left.
something
We
from
pray
you,
for
David. Huh? That's great. We also
So
have
Chuck
one
your
of the
daddy,
greatest
Diane.
writers
You're so
anywhere in the
obsessed.
country who knows more about the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
He's all our
I
daddy.
think, than anybody. She's a terrific person.
You can call him Daddy Trump. You can call him Dementia Daddy. He is the daddy. He is Daddy Trump.
Right from the beginning, she said Trump is going to win, therefore I like her. She said Trump
No
is
one
going to
wants
win
to hear
in
you, guy. I'm
2015.
backing.
In fact, she wrote an
That facts. Another great moment by Donald Trump today.
article in 2014. She said this guy Trump should run. I hadn't thought too much about it. I was having a lot of fun putting up buildings. But she was very early on, and I really mean it. I don't think there's anybody that knows
The
more
Latinos
about it.
call
They
him
used to
Papi
call
Trump.
it the Rust Belt. I call it the Money Belt now. It's gone from the Rust Belt to the Money Belt.
Papi Trump.
Either one is okay, but there's nobody that knows more about it than Selena Zito. She's fantastic. Where are you, Selena? Where are you, Selena, with your beautiful daughter? Thank you, Selena. Selena's an incredible woman, and her daughter is following in her footsteps. She's just been so good. Very powerful writer, actually. Some of the biggest papers in the world. It's nice to have good stories on occasion, truthful stories. Thanks as well to the president of the NRA who's here with me, Bill Bockenberg. Bill, stand up. And they always give me their endorsement because I saved
Bro,
the
they
second.
said this was an hour and a half. I thought other people were going to speak. It's just him.
Amendment, and you think it's
It's
easy.
just him.
On occasion, it was not easy, right?
Crazy.
Bill? But we did it. We did it with
Crazy.
your
Nobody like him.
help. And
Nobody will be like
we're doing
him
a couple
after.
of other things, working with you.
Name
and your
another
people.
politician that will
But I
talk
think
this
you've done
long.
a fantastic job. The NRA,
This much
everybody,
to
they
us.
really have been. They've been with me right from the beginning.
Be this accessible.
And Bill asked me, would I support the national right to carry legislation? How do you feel about national right to carry? That's my free poll. You know what that is? That's a free poll. I don't have to pay $300,000 to somebody that doesn't even do polling, you know, to give you phony numbers. See, those are real numbers. National right to carry. Yeah, we're working on it. And we have a very special guest who you just saw on the highest rated fight show ever in the history of television, the UFC Freedom 250. So this
Bro just made some shit up. The biggest fight history signal of ratings in history of television yesterday.
guy, well, I just have to set it up a little bit if I don't mind. Because I'm thinking, you know, I'm a similar
It was
size.
huge,
I'm actually
but
way
it's
more
like-
than he does, actually. So therefore, I have a tremendous physical advantage over him. His muscles are slightly harder and slightly younger. He's a lot younger. But I think I can do it because I'm a great athlete. He knows I'm a very good golfer. And I'm much better off on the golf course against him than I'm in the wrestling mat. But he went virtually undefeated. I mean, he went 4 years. He was the top wrestler. His friend, Tony, who's another champion, I'll introduce you to, Tony. But these two guys were on the Penn State team. And Bo Nickel went...
Hulkamania was bigger.
I mean, you couldn't defeat the guy. And then he had every battle. I guess he was
Are you
3 or
talking
4
about
time.
Hulk? I don't think you're talking about the right Hulkamania. You mean Hulkamania when you mean when the guy that was dressed up as Hulk literally said that Michelle Obama's a man?
All-American. But then he
Is that what
turned
you're
pro and he
referring
went to the UFC. Did you find them tougher? Yes, a little different. You know, a little different. But he's won just about everything. But he had a big fight last week with a lot of pressure, with the White House in the background. And he's a guy that I like. I met him a while ago. I looked at the years. I said, man, this guy's a fighter.
In your dreams.
You can tell a lot by the years. And he told me, no, he doesn't mind the years. He likes them. It's almost a symbol. For great fighters, it's a symbol. That's why I'm worried about you, Tony. You have pretty normal ears. But I got to know Bo a little bit, and I got to root for him. And I almost felt like his father up there. His father's great, but I felt like his father, so I was nervous for the fight. And he was fighting somebody that Dana White, the great Dana White, he's a phenomenal guy. He said, no, Bo's got a tough one tonight. I said, why? Why do you do that to him? Because if you lose at this night, it was the biggest audience they've ever had, by far. The whole world watched it. The people at the White House, we had 5,000 seats around the cage we built, and we had 100,000, more than 100,000 people in the park right next door. We had the largest television.
They don't have to lie, okay? It was literally 4,500 in the stadium and 80 to 85,000 projected on the ground.
Audience they've ever had, by far.
It's still
So why
crazy.
do you have to give him such a tough opponent? He was pretty tough, but then it happened. So Bo is known as a great wrestler because he was the best wrestler by far in college. Nobody could beat him. And I figured Bo would be wrestling, but no, he wasn't wrestling. He was punching. I said, Bo, grab his legs and start wrestling. That's what you do. But he didn't do that. He didn't listen to me.
His ear grew back.
He got a shot off that was
That
brutal.
shit again.
And
Going
in the
over that
first
shit
round,
again?
right, knocked him out. He was really knocked out. Great fighter. The guy was a great fighter, is a great fighter.
Pregnant hosts are us. Hey,
So
now.
I just want to thank, he's from Penn State. He loves Penn State. He is the NCAA wrestling champion.
Logo.
And just fantastic. And his friend, and you probably know, is also, I think you were roommates, right? That's a tough room. I wouldn't want to fight these two guys. Let's go pick on those two guys. I don't think so. But he was the heavyweight, and he lost a lot of weight. He weighed 35, 40 pounds. I asked him, how much did you wrestle? About 40 pounds heavier.
Well, lucky we're not going by
In
your
other words, you
opinion.
want to live, right? You decide to lose it. But he was also the champion, NCAA champion, and his name is Anthony Cassar. So come up here, fellas, because I want to just ask the audience a question. Come here. Come here, Bo. So here's my question. If I work out for the next couple of months, really work hard, lifting those weights away, and really, really work, could I beat Bo or Anthony in wrestling? You're very disloyal.
Convictions don't count. Fact.
You're very disloyal. Say it, Bo.
Fucking Manhattan.
Appreciate it.
BS.
Wow, what an honor to be here. I think walking up here, I was almost as nervous as the fight, but it feels like a fight. Yeah, it feels like it, but this is exciting. I'm grateful to be here with everybody. So grateful to President Trump for making an event that, in my mind, never seemed possible happen. UFC Freedom 250 on the White House lawn. Unbelievable. I don't think there are too many presidents that have the courage to do something like that, and just so unbelievable. For me, both my parents were high school teachers. My dad was a wrestling coach. My grandpa was a wrestling coach, and I grew up around sports and just competing from 5 years old. And so to be able to do something like that is a dream come true. And
Selling LG kits with water knives on my Substack. Can somebody make that a t-shirt, please? Selling LG kits with water knives on my Substack. I don't know what side you're on, but wild. Solid comment. Best comment of the night, everybody. Best comment of the night for sure. Selling LG kits with water knives on my Substack. That's too fucking... Yes! That's where I live. That's where I live. That comment.
It's just
Oh,
through hard work,
fire
effort,
comment.
discipline, and a lot of time in the wrestling room, a lot of time in the cage that I was able to do that. And that's really because America is the land of opportunity. And if you set your mind to something and you feel passionate about what you do, you can accomplish anything. And thank you. I don't want to take too much time, but I want to tell a quick story about the first time I met President Trump. It was in 2019 at the White House, and our team and I won the Nationals, the NCAAs, and at Penn State, we are. Let's go. And we were given the opportunity to meet President Trump, and it was really special because he took a lot of extra time to talk with us as wrestlers. I think he respected the wrestlers a lot, and I told him that when I'm done wrestling, I was going to fight, and he asked me if I needed a manager. And I thought that he has better things to do than that. But really, since then, I feel like we've had a special connection that I'm extremely grateful for. And, fast forward 7 years, I'm fighting on the White House lawn, and I turn and look at my corner, and President Trump is right next to him. And so it really felt to me like he was in my corner. I know that was something that was just
the more
so
they attack, the
special.
stronger he gets.
I feel
It's
like
a fucking
just
Power
incredibly
Ranger,
grateful.
bro.
And overall, the whole week of the experience, everything, the word that kept coming to mind and the emotion that I kept feeling was gratitude. And I'm grateful for President Trump, grateful for all my friends and family and supporters, and I'm grateful to be an American, and it's the best country on earth, and God bless you all.
But actually, with the reflecting pool, Biden pre-erased the tapes and pre-pardoned all involved. Damn! I believe it.
Doing?
I believe it.
This is an awesome crowd. I'll keep this really
Biden
short.
pre-pardoned the
It's just
people in the
an honor to
reflecting
be here. Bo and I have been roommates since our freshman year at Penn State, and never could imagine this. But it's an honor to support Mr. President, this great nation, and the American workers that build the foundation of the United States of America. So as a small business owner, real estate investor, I just want to thank President Trump for the big, beautiful bill, all he's done for small business owners. And most importantly, I pray that God will continue to bless him and guide him to lead this great nation. And God bless all of us. Thank you.
Two great champions. That's great. It's good to have them here, too. We have a lot of champions in the audience. These are two very special people. When you do that, I was saying to myself, going into that ring and you got all these people. We had the richest and the biggest politicians. We had the biggest of everything. You couldn't get a ticket. The tickets were selling for some crazy numbers, I heard. We gave them away to everybody, but somehow some got out. And I was saying that's a tremendous amount of pressure, and you're fighting the toughest people on earth. I mean, these are the strongest, toughest men on earth. No women in the crowd, but which is nice. But these are the toughest men on earth, and it's tremendous pressure. And the muscles, you got the muscles, you guys, you got the big, strong muscles, but you got this muscle too, because it takes much more than just the normal muscle to win those matches. I mean, the strategy and the genius that goes in it. It is a genius. A lot of people wouldn't understand that, but there's a genius. There's a genius in sports, but there's a great amount of courage and power that you have that a lot of other people don't have. So congratulations, really great job. Great job. Good to have you here.
Guys, make sure you double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, send people into the algorithm for our poll of the day, as it is every single day on this show. With 25 minutes remaining in our show, 134 votes in, JD Vance clearly leading it 56%. Wow.
In everything we do, we're once again fighting for the people of Pennsylvania, and that includes our amazing Pennsylvania oil and gas workers. And I ended last administration's war on Pennsylvania energy, and I signed an order to drill, baby, drill. That's what we did. Right, David? And you helped. The United States is now the #1 producer of oil and gas on earth, larger than Russia and Saudi Arabia combined by a lot. Think of that. Who would have thought that? We were in 4th place. Now we're larger than, and that doesn't include Venezuela. Include Venezuela once, because it's essentially should be included. I also ended the war on clean, beautiful Pennsylvania coal. In fact, in my administration, you're not, because you know coal was dead. China uses it. Other countries, very successful countries, use it. The unsuccessful countries use wind, those beautiful windmills that blow around and round and don't do anything except cost you money. Every time it goes around, you lose $10. It's supposed to make money with energy, not lose money. No, wind is every country that's using wind is a disaster. Every country that's using our beautiful substances from underground are doing very nicely, thank you. But in my administration, you're not allowed to say the word coal without preceding that word with the words clean, beautiful. So you say clean, beautiful coal. And I have Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum, who's fantastic, and Chris Wright. And they made a speech about coal, and they mentioned coal like 50 times in the speech. It's all about coal. And they kept saying, clean, beautiful coal, clean, beautiful coal. I said, no, it's enough. It's enough. But we're not allowed to use the word coal without saying, because what they can do with coal today is amazing. It is clean, it is beautiful, they can clean it. And it's a very powerful form of energy. And if you look at China, they're building 57 coal plants throughout, big monster plants all over their country. And then we're not supposed to do that? No, we're doing that. Clean, beautiful coal. We've invested over $1 billion to save dozens of coal mines. We've saved them. They were ready to close, and some had closed. And more than 100 coal power plants, including the Keystone and the Conemaugh generating stations, right here in Pennsylvania, as you know, are really moving now and employing a lot of people. They were all getting ready to close up. They were essentially closed. We're working hard to lower the cost for all consumers, and we want powerful energy. Under my administration, the most favored nation agreements on drug prices that we just did are delivering the largest prescription drug price cuts in history, with numbers like 400, 500, and even a 600% reduction from where it was. Think of that. That alone should win us the midterm. And the fake news back there refuses to talk about it because they know how good it is, because they can't produce it. They've been trying to do it for years. Favored nation. We paid the highest drug price in the world by far. As an example, for the fat drug, which Bo and Tony don't need to take, but a lot of people are taking. Who takes the fat drug? So in New York, think of it, it was costing a fortune. Many, many times it was costing $1,300. And in London, it was $87. And a friend of mine who's extremely fat, sloppy, but very brilliant. He's a brilliant businessman, but he's a slob. There's no question about it. Very neurotic person, which you need sometimes to be successful. But he called me up. He used to call me Donnie. Donnie! Now he calls me Mr. President. That's a sign of great respect. But he said, President, I just came over here and I bought, I won't say Ozempic or whatever the hell it was, but I bought the fat drug. I said, I didn't know you used it because it's not working. And I use him as, he's begging me not to use his name, so I won't. But he's a very successful guy. He's actually a pretty well-known guy, brilliant business guy, worth a lot of money. And he checked. He just, you know, he said, well, how come in London I just sent out and I'm paying $87, and in New York I'm paying $1,300? I said, because that's the way the prices are rigged. And it's rigged. The whole world is rigged against us. And I said, but you know what? You brought it out better than anybody could bring it out, because I've been looking at it. They all said it was impossible to do. And I went to the drug companies. I said, well, it's not going to be any more. You're going to raise their price a little bit. You're going to lower ours a lot, because the world is bigger than us. So it really worked that way. And they said, well, we'll do it. They were very unhappy, but they knew I wouldn't get it from the countries, because you had to get it from the countries. Then I went to France. I said to a very nice man named Emmanuel Macron, I said, Emmanuel, you got to raise your prices on drugs. Of course I will not do that. Why would I do that? Because it's unfair. We're paying 10 times more than you, and you're going to have to raise them a little bit. We're going to drop ours a lot. He said, no, I will not do that. I said, yes, you will. He said, I will not do that. I said, yes, you will. We're putting a 100% tariff on all wines and champagnes coming into the United States. He said, yes, I will do that. I promise. And I had the same conversation with Germany, with every country, with UK. Every single one of them within 5 minutes agreed to do it. Nobody could believe it. And they agreed to raise their price, and we have gotten the biggest price reductions in the history of drugs, medical. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. So instead of paying $1,300, you'll be paying about $175. Nobody's ever done that before. And this is on many, many drugs. A pill that sells for $10 in London and selling for $150 in Texas, any place, it's all the same in the United States. They basically discriminated. So now instead of $10, it goes to $20, because again, the world is a big place. And we would bring ours down to 20, from like 150 down to 20. This is the kind of price reductions you're getting. Go to Trump.com, by the way. And I didn't name it. That was Bobby Kennedy that did it with Dr. Oz. Everyone thinks I named it. I did not name it, but that site is through the roof. And these are the biggest price reductions in the history of our country for anything having to do with drugs, prescription medicine. So that alone should win the midterms. And there's a real chance that they would end it, because they're totally controlled by these foreign countries, the Democrats. So starting next week, weight loss drugs will be available for just $50. Think of that. For seniors who previously had to pay $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, couldn't pay it. Think of that. Now, they don't want to write. Look, they turn the cameras off when I talk about it, because they don't want good stuff for us, because they don't want us to win elections. And why, I don't know. Why they want to have people pouring into our country, why they want to have high taxes, why they want to have all of these problems that took place over the last 4 years of the last administration, one of the worst administrations in history. But the other ones wouldn't be much better, because they have all of these crazy policies. They've gone communist. But just over 1 year ago, we inherited the worst border in history, but I quickly turned it into the most secure border in the history of our country by far. Almost nobody is able to get in. And in the past 13 months, and this is a chart kept by generally Democrat people, in the past 13 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted into the United States. Think of that. 0. And even I find that hard to believe, but it's 0. I mean, they'd love to have it be high, but we can't do that. We have a country, and we're going to run it well. We don't want to have prisons released into our... Some of these countries were emptying their prisons into the United States of America through the southern border. Prisons, prison population. Some of the countries had no prison population left. You know what that saves them? Some of them had no mental institutions. The mental institutions were taken. All of those people were taken to our southern border and allowed to just walk freely into our country under Sleepy Joe Biden and his group of thugs, their group of real thugs. Weaponization, that's all they're good at, weaponization and cheating on elections. In 2025, we achieved the largest drop in the murder rate ever recorded in the history of our country, despite the fact that we haven't gotten all of these criminals out of our country. We had the lowest since 1900, that's 125 years ago. And we cut the flow of fentanyl across our border by 56%. That's a big number. And we...
Guys, make sure you double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe. We're only 5 likes away from 50 likes, so make sure you do that right now. And when you hit subscribe, we are live every single day at 5 p.m. Central Time. We are currently in hour 2, overtime. We're about to potentially go into hour 3 of overtime, but we have 15 minutes left of this hour of the show. And with 15 minutes left in the show, J.D. Vance, 52%, Gavin Newsom, 48%. Get your votes in now.
Cut
Consistency counts for something.
Of illegal
I hope
drugs
so. I do the show every
coming
day.
in
That's
by water,
consistency,
coming
right?
in by ocean or sea. We cut it by 97%. 97.
Dementia Dom?
97%. It's
Okay,
very
like,
drastic, but
appreciate you.
people aren't traveling that way too much anymore. What we're able, we have the most powerful. I built the military in my first term. We used it in my second term, more than I thought, but we have no choice. We have no choice. But think of it, we cut fentanyl. For years, they've been interdicting. They've been grabbing boats, bringing them in, putting them in court. They go out by the same night. They're back sending drugs by the ocean, by the Gulf, by the sea. And now it's down
from Boston.
97%. And we're looking for the 3%. Because I think those 3% are more brave than Bo Nickel was. Doesn't
he mean 97,000%? Exactly.
The people that are willing to get into a boat to deliver drugs now.
That's a solid. That's the second solid comment. We're gonna do it. Catharsis. The catharsis. I don't even know how to. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce your name today. Adding you as a mod. Solid job. You can now unhide hidden comments, and you can also put people in timeout if they're really pissing you off, annoying you, or saying 86 and threatening people and stuff like that. But we never actually ban anybody on this channel. We always just put them on timeout. All you do is just hold down, and then you can see the timeouts, and you can put them anywhere from 60 seconds all the way up to 24 hours. Thank you so much for chatting with us, for those great comedic comments tonight, and for keeping the conversations alive. Everybody, let's go. We're about to go into hour 3. Back to Donald Trump.
It won't happen long, but what we've done is amazing. Our military, we have the greatest military in the world. We have the greatest law enforcement in the world.
I think we're going to make it. I think we're going to make it to hour 3 again.
And we have the highest number of recruiting. So a year and a half ago, it was headlines. Nobody wanted to join the military, the Army, Navy, Marines. Nobody wanted to join any of them. Air Force.
Are your feelings getting
Space
hurt?
Force. I love Space Force.
Love Trump?
Coast Guard. Nobody wanted to join any of the military. They had tremendous recruitment problems. And even it carried over to the police. We have great police here. The police and the fire departments. Nobody wanted to do anything with the name America, anything with the uniform. And today, we have the highest recruitment, the most successful recruitment. Every single slot is filled. And that includes, they want to be policemen, and they want to be firemen and women. So we went from the least successful in our history, David, to the most successful in the history in terms of recruitment. It was very embarrassing. A year and a half ago,
hey guys,
2 years
47
ago,
likes.
and it all happened from November 5th. That's when we won the election.
Hit that like button.
From November 5th on, everybody wants to be a soldier. Everybody wants to be in the Army, the Navy, the Marines. They want to fly the jets in the Air Force. The Coast Guard is hot. Everything's hot.
America leads.
And of course, Air Force. You know, I started Air Force. That was a part of the Air Force. The Space Force was part of the Air Force. I said, no, it's got to be separate. Got to do its own thing. And it's become. So we were in third place 4 or 5 years ago, and I put it in. We were losing to China and to Russia. And now we're totally ahead of both of them, like at numbers that they can't believe. Space Force could end up being one of your most important. To stop the massive theft of taxpayer dollars, including millions of illegals, we've launched the war on fraud, led by our great Vice President, J.D. Vance. He's doing a great job. Doing a great job. Smart guy. We ended Medicaid for illegal immigrants, and we redirected $50 billion to make the largest investment in rural health in the history of our country, hospitals and everything else in the rural areas. And with the help of our Republican majorities in Congress, we will defend our jobs, our factories, our safety, and we will defend our borders like never before. We will crush violent crime, impose harsh new penalties on dangerous repeat offenders that shouldn't be in our country, crack down on Marxist prosecutors and judges, and we will immediately end the most dangerous thing that's ever been put into our country from the standpoint of law enforcement is called no cash bail. You kill someone, you go to the judge, they let you out, then you kill somebody in the afternoon. It's crazy. That was the beginning of crime. We will pass the great health care plan to stop all payments to big insurance companies and give the money directly to the people so they can buy their own health care, which will be much better care at a much lower cost. And we will pass the Save America Act to protect our sacred American.
And they're all cheering that one. They're all cheering that one.
And in the Save America Act, it's very simple. All voters must show a photo, voter ID. Very nice. May we see a picture, please? All voters must provide proof of citizenship. And there will be no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military deployment, or travel.
Hey guys, about to drop the 2020 evidence.
And we will also, in that same bill, enshrine in permanent law no men in women's sports and no transgender surgery for our children. So together with the help of patriots throughout Pennsylvania and all across the land, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. It's all happening. It's all happening.
I'm fact.
We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you,
The fucking theme song of fucking Donald Trump, everybody. All right. Now to Mr. Rubio's. Ooh, what's Mr. Rubio got to say to us today? Mr. Rubio, what you got to say? Stepping off this planet. All right, guys. Where we at on this poll? We got 7 minutes left in this hour, guys. Marco Rubio stepping onto the UAE to represent. 193 votes in. J.D. Vance, 91%. Gavin Newsom, 49%. Woo! That's a tight one. Snake oil and a gold watch for watching. Mine's still in the mail. YMCA. Donald. This is his name. Donald. It's Donald Trump. I can't wait to build the hotels. That's exactly what Marco Rubio is saying to him. Marco Rubio is going to come over here and say hello to the media. He's going to go, hello, media.
You been waiting long? Hey,
welcome to a man who keeps losing to J.D. Vance in the poll every day.
Okay.
What you got, Mr. Rubio?
Well, we know what they agreed to. I don't know why they have to say the things they say. Whatever their internal or domestic politics is, I guess they'll navigate it. But we know what they agreed to do, and now they'll either do it or they won't. And if they do, the process moves forward, and if they don't, the president will have some decisions to make.
What assurance are you offering the partners about regional security?
Well, we have long-standing relationships and partnerships with the three countries I'm visiting. And we're here in the United Arab Emirates. I don't know of anyone who's been stronger with the United States over the last 6 months. They've been phenomenal. I mean, for a long time, but certainly over the last 6 months. So we have an ongoing partnership that has been building for over a decade now and continues to grow. So my sense is that we're going to continue on that path, obviously taking into account the new regional dynamics that are at play. But we're really here to hear from them more than we are to talk. We want to hear their thoughts, especially in the aftermath of this weekend in Switzerland, and make sure that their views are taken into account in every decision that we make, because they're our partners.
Are Gulf allies on board with Iran peace framework?
Well, I think all of our allies are on board with peace. Obviously, it all depends on the details of that peace as we work through, but it's a work in progress. This is an issue that's been going on for 47 years. So the idea that somehow it's going to get solved in a day and a half, I don't think anyone's been selling that. I think there is a framework and an outline upon which we can make real progress. I think.
Okay, guys, we got 5 minutes until we go into hour 3 of overtime. And when we go into hour 3 of overtime, we essentially redo the poll, but we add a third-party candidate. And here is our long-standing results of overtime episodes of No News is News, if you guys have been with us. Here are the third-party candidates in those hours of overtime, all right? And the percentage that they got as the third-party candidate. Vivek Ramaswamy, 6%. Olivia Rodrigo, Melania Trump, 7%. Dave Portnoy, 8%. Thomas Massey, Alex Jones, John Fetterman, and Theo Vaughn, 9%. RFK, 10%. Tulsi Gabbard, Ben Shapiro, 11%. Bobby Lee and Stephen Miller, Elon Musk, Asmongold, The Rock, all at 12%. AOC, 14%. Shane Gillis, Joe Rogan, 15%. Mark Cuban, 16%. Michelle Obama, 17%. Taylor Swift, 19%. Afro Man, 20%. Tucker Carlson, 21%. Mr. Beast, Jon Stewart, Kamala Harris, and Matthew McConaughey all tied at the top of that third party, the highest the third parties ever went in our poll, at 22%. Marco Rubio has won our poll twice. Gavin Newsom has won the poll 13 times. J.D. Vance has won it 33 times. And J.D. Vance is on a one-day winning streak, guys. Double tap, hit that like button. We're about to go into hour 3, algorithmically, who will be the third-party candidate tonight. And if you double tap now, you're going to get that 50. Get that 50th like for us, guys. So help us out. We're 2 minutes away from ending this poll and going algorithmically into our third-party poll of the evening, our first third-party poll of the evening. We may even do multiple hours of overtime. Last Thursday, we did a 12-and-a-half-hour show. We were on until 4:30 in the morning giving you news. So if you guys stay with us, we stay with you. And with that said, we have 2 minutes left. Let's go back to Mr. Rubio for a minute, and then we will be ending this poll and then giving you the third one. Oh, Snoop Dogg, that is a close one there. That is a good one.
Taken into account, and we understand their security concerns, their regional economic concerns as well. So it's natural for us to be here and talk to them because it's a very important issue for them. They're right next to it.
Mr. Secretary, on the issue of the reconstruction fund for Iran, the Vice President and the President have both insisted the U.S. will not pay any money into that fund. Are you
can wear shorts and let it jiggle at the beach?
Here to consider helping with that?
No, that's far down the road. It's a part of what's discussed that could happen. If Iran makes a decision, if its leadership makes a decision that they want to be a country instead of a revolutionary movement that exports terror, they're going to have an opportunity to do incredible things in Iran. I'm not promising you that that's the choice they're going to make. I'm saying if that's the choice that they make, then there will be opportunities. And those opportunities could include investment, as you've seen other countries in this region benefit from investment, from foreign direct investment. It won't be our investment, it won't be our government money, but I think that is
just hit that 50th like, everybody. I'll be going into hour 3 here in a second.
Issues that have to be confronted in the days to come.
Lebanese and Israeli officials are meeting in Washington as we speak. Yeah. Is it your position that that process should be separate from Iran peace deal?
Well, that process is separate. It's separate because Lebanon is a sovereign country. It has a government.
And there it is, the results. J.D. Vance barely made it, 51%. He is still in the lead right now. Will he make it out of the night, guys? We are going into hour 3 now of our show. Who will be president in 2028 with 868 days until election? We got Mr. J.D. Vance at 33 wins. We got Gavin Newsom at 13 wins. And our third-party candidate this hour is Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg, everybody, is our third-party candidate this hour. Get your votes in now. Back to Mr. Rubio.
deal directly with the Lebanese government. I spoke to President Ayoun along with the Vice President a few moments ago, spoke to him on Friday. Their people are there now on the ground directly. So the reason why that issue is always... Now, there's an Iranian issue with regards to Lebanon, and that is their support and sponsorship of Hezbollah. And so that factor will be discussed as part of our conversations with the Iranians. But as far as the future of Lebanon belongs to the Lebanese people through their sovereign elected government. And that's who we're going to be working with.
Based on the sanctions aren't being addressed in the MOU, how are you trying to ease concerns to allies here in the region?
Well, that most certainly will come up in these conversations. And there are items outside the MOU that are certainly going to be covered, but that's one that will have to be covered. It'll be discussed. I think a careful reading of the MOU will see that when you talk about, for example, a complete and end of hostilities in the entire region, well, that's not possible. You can't have the end of hostilities and conflicts in the region as long as Iranian proxies are launching missiles and drones from Iraq and are participating in terrorism like Hamas did and like Hezbollah did. So I do think it's covered by the MOU. And it is an issue that will be gotten to at the appropriate time in these negotiations.
Let me ask you about Hormuz, if possible. Can the U.S. and allies, can they guarantee navigation, freedom of navigation in the state?
Well, that's the law. It's an international waterway. No country is allowed to charge tolls or fees on an international waterway. That's existing international law. That's the way it is in international waterways all over the world, and that's the way we expect it'll be here. So I don't think we have anybody to convince around here in that regard. I think all the countries in this region would agree with us. All right? See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Huh. That's a hell of a way to respond to that, right? Mr. Rubio there. Still being slept on. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, guys. It's time for Mr. Chuck Schume. Chuck Schume coming in hot to give us the Democratic plan for the midterms. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready for Mr. Schume? Are you ready for the Chucker of the Schumer? Mr. Schumster. Here he is. The Schuminator. He's got a board, too.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for waiting.
Thank you to Senators
Blumenthal and Klobuchar for joining us, or Klobuchar and Blumenthal, not seniority, but leadership.
Blumenberg.
Right way.
Blumenberg and Klobuchar.
For joining us today. Look, everywhere you look, the Republicans are one big hot mess. Everywhere. So many different things.
This poll shows nothing because the candidates haven't even been announced yet. We literally can only go off of what the betting odds are. We go off of Kelchi every single day, guys. We've been doing this since the start of the Iran war. Been doing it for over 40 days now. We will be doing it all the way up until the day before the election. We'll be going off of the Kelchi betting odds, the top four. After hour one, we go to a runoff for hour two. If we continue past hour two, we add a third-party candidate in, as you would see in any kind of thing, and we give a different third-party candidate a chance every single hour on the show. So I think we're the best fucking poll there is, and you can go elsewhere.
Trump's agenda
haven't even been announced yet. No shit. Chaos, once they're announced, do you think you guys are going to be voting for them?
Terrible for America.
Is that it?
And it's
we have
despised
to be told what to do first.
Look at this failed.
They haven't told us who's running yet.
What did Americans get out of the last 100 days of this war? Well, $100 billion bill, 13 lives lost, 500 people injured, gas prices up, inflation up. Iran. They're the big winners. Trump was such a poor negotiator, they just took him to the cleaners. $300 billion fund, sanctions relief, more control over Hormuz than he had before it started.
With the hip
and a more radical, emboldened regime. That's not strength, it's surrender. So Americans got worse than nothing from this war. We're worse off than before it started. And that's precisely why Trump, Rubio, and Vance are too afraid to come before the American people and the whole Senate to defend this war.
Exactly.
And the so-called understanding. Instead, Trump only will talk to Senate Republicans behind closed doors, and from what it looks like, that ain't going to be pretty. Senate Republicans need to grill Trump for answers on where negotiations stand when he meets them on the Capitol.
This is your leader, Democrats.
More than a week after announcing side deals and so-called understandings with Iran, the administration still has not briefed Congress or the American people on what has been agreed to.
All right, guys, here we are, 5 minutes into our poll in our third hour. Make sure you double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, send people into the algorithm for our poll of the day, as it is every single day on this show. Hour 3. We're in hour 3 now, guys, and 868 days until the election, 55 minutes left in our show. JD Vance coming away with it with 60%, and Mark Zuckerberg, potentially the lowest third party of all time at 7% right now.
Wishful thinking.
Actually, that's not the lowest.
Certainly, Senate
Vivek got
Republicans'
6.
calls
They
to
got
pump
6%.
billions, hundreds of billions of dollars more into Trump's fiasco will make matters worse. Republicans can't complain about Trump's war, his secrecy, his disastrous deal with Iran,
walking, talking, proof
and
of term
all of
limits
it behind
first.
closed doors. But the only way to ensure this war ends once and for all is for Republicans to act, to join us in voting to end this war. Any minute now, we're once again going to put Republicans on record on whether they want Trump's disastrous war to continue by forcing a vote on the Iran War Powers Resolution for the first time. We have forced this fight on the floor again and again and again for more than 100 days because only Congress has the power to take our nation to war, not Trump alone. Republicans need to support our War Powers Resolution. We're just one vote short. And they need to hold Trump's feet to the fire in their meeting tomorrow. Senator Klobuchar.
Thank you, Chuck. So, what is this about? The administration, according to the Association Press today, because we've been trying to figure out how much this war costs, has spent somewhere in the neighborhood of $80 billion. That's an AP report. Maybe a bit less, maybe a bit more. That's a lot of money. You add that to the $70 billion they just put out in extra funding to ICE, that would be $150 billion. This is not where Americans are right now. This is not what they want them to be spending their money on. What do they care about? Well, inflation is eating up any wage increase that they have. This month's inflation report showed inflation up 4.2%, another record high under President Trump. There was just a recent report by NPR and PBS, a poll showing that 49% of Americans aren't taking a summer vacation for one reason, and that's because they can't afford it. That's
you already fucking took a vacation, though, so why don't you fucking step the fuck down, bro?
A lot of people.
Oh my God!
So what should we be doing with this kind of money? Well, the first is something
we should be going on vacation again and saying
thanks to leadership, thanks to Senator Warren, Senator Scott, and others, is housing. That was a Senate-led bill, and there's a lot of work that went on it in the House, the Road to Housing bill, but it gives you an example. Imagine if this president was focused on what the American people want done, and that is...
Whew. All right, guys. We're going to have to move over to the Republican side now because that's a little bit... I mean, we'll get back to them, but let's get a little bit of the Republican flavor for the midterms because... Democratic midterms, a little boring. What the Republicans want us to do. No taxation without representation. Taxes, no.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is an exciting season of our year. We are heading up now on the 250th anniversary, a celebration for our country. And I think I can say that we are very fortunate to live in the greatest land, in my view, in the history of the world. And we can be enormously thankful and grateful to those who have come before us, who have sacrificed and served to make that possible for the rest of us. And as we think about this 250th anniversary, it's also a good time to reflect on many of the things that we've been able to accomplish and the issues that we've been trying to address here in the United States Senate. First and foremost, of course, right now, as you know, is the housing bill just passed. It's going to be taken.
Make sure you double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, send people into the algorithm for our poll of the day, as it is every day on this show, people. With 868 days until the election in our third hour of the night, JD Vance is coming away with it, people. 50 minutes left in our poll, 69% of the vote. Mark Zuckerberg, the lowest third party ever, at 3% of the vote, getting half the percent of Ramaswamy.
Taken up by the House later and hopefully signed into law by the President. It gets at the very
that
heart
holds.
of an issue that I think is really important to the American people, and that's the issue of affordability. You know, home
South
ownership
Dakota
has
is
always
not
been
happy
considered
with
to
the
be
job
part
he's
of
done.
that American dream.
Well, he's not doing this for South
and
Dakota.
to be
He's doing
able
this for
to
America. He's being Trump's lackey, bro. He's like a corrupt politician.
you know, put your
Corrupt
flag in the
politicians do what
ground
corrupt
and
politicians
have
do.
some place where you can take care of your family. This legislation is going to make that more possible. And I can't think of anything that is a better way to celebrate the 250th anniversary of this country than making it easier for people to pursue the American dream of home ownership. And as we think about wrapping up this session of the Congress, and as we get into the upcoming election, Republicans continue to stay focused on keeping our country safe, on safe streets, on having the American people have more money in their pockets and better opportunities to get ahead. That's what our focus has been and will continue to be, and we look forward to you know, the days ahead and hopefully more victories for the American people. Senator Barrasso, the whip.
Well, we are getting ready to celebrate the 250th birthday of the nation. And of course, it's the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
I don't know why you got.
When you take a look at this, it's iconic. It is a piece of art. It is a masterpiece. And I believe that we don't read it and go to it frequently enough. Basically, it's a letter of complaint.
Why did you
to the King of
buy
England,
a souvenir copy, though?
And it says,
like a real copy.
You've done this, and you've done this, and you've done that, and we are now done with you. People were very religious. They talked 4 times in this about the Creator. We are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It says the power comes from God, not from the king. Exactly. And then we as individuals loan that power to the government.
Oh, it's just decrepit people on both sides, guys.
It talks about liberty, and we use those words interchangeably. But in fact, they're different.
Freedom
is we're freedom to say and do and think what we want. Liberty means those are guaranteed, protected rights that we all have. 56 individuals signed this. The oldest was Ben Franklin, and he was 70. 3 people signed it who were 26 years old. Of course, right down there is John Hancock. The famous John Hancock signed it in the center, saying the king could see who it was. He'd be the one that he'd come after first. There's a man named Stephen Hopkins, and you see his signature, he was moving his hand, and it's crooked, and he wrote it in a way. He said, you know, because he had a tremor, a medical tremor, and he said, my hand trembles, my heart does not.
This is supposed to be them giving us their agenda for the midterms,
by saying,
guys.
we pledge our life, our fortunes,
Great
and our sacred honor. And they pledge it to each other and to all of us. And as a result of 250 years, we have had freedom, liberty, and American greatness. And because of this great document, our best days are still ahead.
And let me just reiterate, that was 250 years ago. A year ago, we passed the Working Families Tax Cuts legislation, and we will celebrate the 1-year anniversary of that on July 1st here in the Senate.
You're boring.
But one of the things that came out of that,
Boo, you suck.
And those Trump accounts were on July 4th.
Boo, trying to attach yourself like, hey, you know the fucking Independence Day thing? That's
so that
me.
was just one feature of the many
Boo.
that were included in that legislation. And so we will be celebrating 250 years of American history,
He's just lame.
freedom.
He's not even Rhino. He's just lame.
Came before us made.
Boo.
We'll also be celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the Working Families Tax Cuts legislation.
Leader Thune, you've expressed your frustrations with the president about how he handled FISA, about how
The working families tax cuts by... All right, let's go back to fucking Mrs. Amy Klobuchar. All right, 15 minutes, 45 minutes left in our show, guys. Double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, send people into the algorithm for our poll of the day. Right now, as it stands, Mark Zuckerberg, 5%. He is the lowest third party of all time if that sits. Woo.
That is to bring their costs down and to reduce the chaos of his administration and the corruption. They don't want to be talking every day about algae in the reflecting pool. They don't want to be talking about cage matches and arches and ballrooms. Instead, what are they dealing with? They're dealing with rising health care costs. New polling from Gallup, fewer than half of Americans could afford quality health care last year. More than 4 in 10 already carry medical.
I care way more about a cage fight than healthcare. If that's what you're trying to tell me, you're trying to tell me that I care about healthcare more than a fucking cage fight. You don't know America.
Debt.
That's
so what
stupid.
did they do? They refuse. They
We
refuse
need
to extend the
healthcare.
tax
You need to
credits
stop
for the
trying to put me to
Affordable
sleep.
Care Act. You know what that has meant?
Jesus
A bunch
Christ.
of Americans, millions of people, have had to lose their coverage. Just that one decision. He literally sent money to Argentina, the same amount of money as would have been spent on a year of Affordable Care Act tax credits. These are misplaced priorities. Instead of the $80 billion estimated on this war, we could extend those health care premium tax cuts for 2 more years.
Oh,
Another
cool.
thing Americans want us to focus on.
Hey guys, are you real excited about Amy Klobuchar's plan to extend the tax cuts on health care?
Child care. 80% say the
Fucking
ability
stop.
to find or afford child care is a
Yawn.
major problem. Senate Democrats
This is
have
not the
come
problem,
out,
lady.
With a plan to bring down
Problem is not
child care costs.
fucking
to actually do
healthcare
something about
costs.
this. But what is President Trump talking about? His reflecting pool, his name on the Kennedy Center. So as we come upon
What are you
the
talking about?
anniversary
Healthcare costs.
of this country,
So
of
you're
which
both
we
out
are
of fucking
proud,
line.
the 250th anniversary.
What are we talking about?
Also sadly come
the fucking
on
algae pool.
another
That's what
birthday.
America's talking about.
And
We're
that
talking about the
is
algae
big,
pool. And
beautiful.
we need to, guys, the algae pool, this needs to stop. This needs to stop. The algae pool needs to stop. We need the 4th of July. I said it yesterday, guys. If you donate, if you send me the super chats, if I get $250 in super chats by the 4th of July, I will drive my ass up to DC and do a live stream on the 4th of July to see if that reflecting pool is actually green or not. I need to know. I think y'all need to know. I think you deserve to know. So, if you want to know, throw the super chats in there.
Betrayal of a bill is 1 year old.
We'll find
next
out.
week. And
But
what
either
has
way,
that
we're gonna
meant?
find out.
More than 4 million people, including over 800,000 children, have lost access to affordable food through SNAP. 481 hospitals have closed or are closing, with more to come because of the Medicaid costs. So let's get real about what is going on in this country and what this president should have as his priorities, and that is the American people.
Thank you. Thank you. To the American people, this administration has constantly concealed and lowballed the costs of this war. As a member of the Armed Services Committee, I can tell you this number is only a portion of what the cost to taxpayers have been. But of course, the tax and the cost to taxpayers are also at the grocery stores, at the gas pump, purchases of everything from mattresses to medical devices, and in lives. It isn't only Americans who have lost their lives. There are thousands of Iranians who have been buried. The cost is measured in graves of Americans and Iranians who would be alive today but for this disastrous war. And to our standing in the world, our credibility around the world has been undercut. The Chinese are watching.
The Chinese are watching.
So is the rest of the world, how lame and inadequate our bargaining position has become in these negotiations. It isn't only that we are providing sanctions relief worth tens of billions of dollars or unfreezing of assets, which is a windfall. It is the timing. Their benefits are up front. We are on our back foot. We are sacrificing our leverage in these negotiations by giving away a lot of our leverage in the sanctions and the frozen assets that now will be released to the Iranians to be used as they wish, not to buy American agricultural products. So I hope we are going to have a permanent peace. I hope we can avoid a restart of this disastrous, unnecessary conflict. But it will depend on smart, strategic negotiations and on a determination to have peace, not imaginary or magical thinking. Republicans should join us this afternoon in this war powers resolution. It is the path for Congress to signal that we want an end to this conflict and for bipartisan support in ending it. American families can't afford this administration's magical thinking any longer. The war powers resolution should pass today. I hope these negotiations will be successful, but ultimately the linchpin will be verification, inspection. The disagreement that has come out of Switzerland between Vance and the Iranians is profoundly important as a signal for what is ahead. Because if the Iranians don't allow ironclad, airtight inspection, there will be no agreement, and any agreement should come to Congress. Thank you.
Leader Schumer. Good afternoon. Thank you. Republicans contend that the Save America Act is popular with the public here. Do you worry that they can try to boomerang this on some of your vulnerable members by saying that you're not for this bill?
The American people know what a disaster this is. They know that it would remove 20 million people from the voting rolls. And so the American people are totally on our side on this issue. Yes.
LOL, Mark Zuckerberg. Yo, he's about to be the lowest percentage ever.
Ben Gavir has come out and said we
so hopefully Mark is still very hated across the board.
This war is disgusting, and we hate it, and it should be ended immediately. Yes, back there.
They want AI or Tucker? Facts.
Listen, this is all up to the Republicans. As long as Pulte is there, there's not going to be any FISA agreement. It's up to them to get rid of him. I hope at the lunch tomorrow, the Republicans make that clear to them.
He doesn't qualify, unfortunately.
Do you plan on endorsing Graham Plattner? Do you think he wants your endorsement?
Look, the bottom line is we are going to beat Susan Collins, and we are going to win the Senate.
Yikes. He's like, bottom line is, we love that Nazi lobster farmer. All right. Democrats love their Nazi lobster farmer.
Handle Jay Clayton dealing with the fund for the rioters. Do you have to express to the president some of your frustration with him, the idea that he's been jerking the Senate around the past couple of weeks?
Look, we have very candid conversations. I am very direct with the president. I shoot straight with him, and vice versa. And, we at times have differences of opinion. But I think the important thing is the issues that really matter to the future of this country and to the American people, we have been united on. And we continue, as we move forward, to look for those opportunities where this team can pull together House, Senate, and President and his team in the White House on issues that are going to make this country safer and stronger and more prosperous. And so the conversations that we have about those issues are regular. And yes, and sometimes we have differences of opinion, but the one thing that we all agree on is we have an alignment of incentives. And as I said before, that's to keep the country safe, to put more money in the pockets of the American people, and to give them better opportunities to get ahead.
Are you okay with the firings that are underway in the
Intelligence Committee by Bill Pulte and Senator Cotton. Are you okay with those firings as well?
Well, look, I think that there is a general agreement among Republicans and Democrats.
There is a talking tree.
Had this conversation with Democrats.
Shane
as
Gillis,
well,
2028.
That there
Shane got
are,
15%. Shane got
the office of
15%.
DNI that can be made more efficient, more effective.
Unfortunately,
and
Matthew
frankly, I think
McConaughey
that's something
and
that many of us
Kamala Harris
agree
got
on.
more.
And how they go about that obviously is something that we'll want to have some visibility into, and Senator Cotton and his committee and the rest of us here who care about intelligence and national security matters, I expect will have some input into that. But I think it's fair to say that there is a consensus view around here that it is time for the ODNI to be scaled down. We've got great intelligence services in this country,
the shit out of us
and
and do
at least
something.
that's my view, and I can't speak for everybody here, but the conversations I've had with people suggest to me that there is an interest in doing something that makes that agency more effective and more efficient. I don't know if
Senator Cotton, support those firings?
The ODNI has employees mostly from other intelligence agencies. I think in the most cases, they would be better off doing real intelligence work at those agencies. That's returning intelligence officers to their agencies. I have a plan for that. I've worked with the administration on it. Some of it happened under Director Gabbard.
Theo Vaughn got
under
less.
Acting Director Pulte. Once we confirm Director Clayton, I'm sure it will continue as well. The ODNI is too big and too bloated.
Theo Vaughn got 9%.
Are you concerned that any agreement that's made with Iran, that you won't be able to trust Iran to actually follow through with any agreement that you end up coming with the United States?
Joe Rogan got 15
with them
Shane,
to end this war?
I think any agreement with the Iranians is, again, it's the trust but verify. I just don't think that these are people who have a history and have proven in the past not to be honest brokers or be trustworthy. But that's why I think it's important that you have compliance and enforcement mechanisms in place
in any
agreement that we reach with them that ensures that anything that they get,
he's already announced too,
in relief or economic support in any way, is conditioned upon them winding down and getting rid of their nuclear program. I think that's something a lot of us agree on.
The Democrats are demanding, as you know, a 2-year extension in state requirements to pay into SNAP. That is the price that they're trying to
baller, come on now. Has Rokana
You sit
gotten
on
in
the
here?
Ag Committee. What is your sense of whether it's going to take a party line vote to get
We have not done Rokana. We did Massey though. Massey only got 9%.
To struggle to get the 60 votes on the floor for cloture on a farm bill?
My understanding is that the bill that will be reported out of the Senate Ag Committee does not include a provision dealing with SNAP. I think most of us believe that SNAP, like many other programs, benefits from reforms. And I think there were reforms in the bill we passed last summer, some of which are work requirements. And by the way, those work requirements were less strenuous, less restrictive than the work requirements included in the Clinton administration 30 years ago.
Your parents listening to me growing up,
but
probably
I think that
why
that's
you
something that most Americans agree with. And I think that those types of reforms are reforms that ought to take effect. And then there were some reforms that dealt with how states were using the program, and there were states that were taking advantage of and abusing the program. So I think those reforms were a big part of what we did last summer.
Mark Zuckerberg currently sitting at 4%. Y'all hate Mark Zuckerberg more than you hate Vivek Ramaswamy.
I think there are reforms that the American people largely would support.
JD coming away with it though, 59% right now, almost halfway through this hour.
Moving a farm bill based upon the components of that farm bill and not try and undo something we did last summer that many of us supported and agree with because we believe they're the right policies.
What is Congress's role in approving whatever comes out of this deal with Iran in 60 days? What do you hope the Senate will do?
Well, I think the Senate, we're obviously, many of us are anxious to hear more about it, which we hope to. Many of the people who would brief us on that are overseas right now involved in the negotiations. But, my assumption is that, as always, there are certain notification requirements that are included in legislation that we passed that we have voted on in the past. And if there is some deal that is struck, I would expect at some point Congress would have some sort of vote on it. And whether that's a resolution of disapproval or something, I don't know the answer to that. One more.
You said that Congress should have visibility. GOP senators tomorrow. What do you expect out of that? And can you respond to the Dear Colleague letter that Senator Scott sent out?
I think that there are many things that were mentioned probably in that letter that all of us are supportive of. I think the question is we have to figure out how do we maximize our opportunity, optimize the chance to get as much done as we can in the amount of time that we have left between now and the midterm elections. And so as you look at what that agenda consists of, there are a number of things that could get slotted in. Now, first and foremost, I would argue, is our defense authorization bill, which hopefully we'll be able to take up as soon as we come back after the 4th of July. But there are a number of other issues that could ripen, and that depend largely on whether or not they have bipartisan support. But I'm hoping that as we sit down and meet as a family, as a team, that we can look at some of the things that we all want to work together on to try and get done before this election. And there are things that I believe will create a record of accomplishment that our candidates can run on and that will enable us to take an argument to the American people that will persuade them that they want to keep majorities here in Congress, in the United States Senate, and in the House, that are Republican, to work with this president to get good things done for this country. So it's a, what exactly those are, I've got a list, we've got a list. It's all going to depend largely on what comes together in the next few weeks. But I can assure you we're going to be active and busy and trying to create that record of accomplishment.
Script, he wasn't even listening, reacting to it. All right. Make sure you double tap, hit the like button, hit subscribe, send people into the algorithm for the poll of the day, as it is every single day on the show with 29 minutes left in our show. JD Vance coming away with it 56%. Mark Zuckerberg tied for last place, 6% on that third party. Got one last presser today. This was a investigation, a Justice Department investigation into the healthcare fraud or something. Let's see what this is all about.
7 U.S. attorney's offices, 41 state attorney general's offices, not red states, not blue states, but both working together with the federal government. Multiple law enforcement agencies, including inspector generals, some of the agencies that are here with me on this stage. That's what we talk about when we say this is an all-government approach to combating fraud. It's not just the Department of Justice. It's not just HHS. It's all government, including working with our state and local partners. Today, we are announcing federal and state charges, all of which were charged or unsealed at some point over the past 2 weeks, the past 14 days, coordinated nationwide action. Since June 8th, we've charged 455 defendants across 56, like I said a minute ago, U.S. attorney's offices, and 45 U.S. states and territories. As alleged in the various indictments, these individuals participated in healthcare fraud schemes involving over $6.5 billion in false claims submitted to Medicare, Medicaid, and other healthcare programs. The team around me will get into more specifics, but here are a few points that stand out. In one indictment, we're bringing charges against a corporate executive in Arizona in connection to over a $1 billion fraud involving unnecessary wound grafts. This alleged scheme costs Medicare over $1 million per patient. In total, our indictment charges 11 defendants for over $2 billion in fraudulent claims in connection to alleged wound care schemes. The indictment also alleges that these individuals then used the taxpayer money to bankroll multi-million-dollar homes, luxury vehicles like a $135,000 Maserati, jewelry like an $865,000 Bulgari necklace, and to top it all off, to fund the construction of a $4.6 million hotel at a beach resort in the Philippines. We're taking back the money, the luxury cars, the jewelry, and these alleged fraudsters will face justice. The coordinated actions of the past 2 weeks have resulted in over $182 million in cash and other assets seized, making clear our healthcare fraud enforcement efforts generate a significant return on investment for our taxpayers. In terms of Medicaid fraud, we're able to announce today the creation of the West Coast Strike Force and the deployment of additional prosecutors, allowing us to bring charges against a record-setting 295 defendants. Our indictments allege over $518 million in Medicaid fraud between these individual defendants. You're going to hear from Director Patel in a moment, but apprehending alleged fraudsters remains a top priority of the Department of Justice and the FBI and our other law enforcement partners, including the DEA, who's here as well. At last year's takedown, a year ago, we charged multiple individuals for allegedly running a 10-point...
Make sure you double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, send people into the algorithm for our poll of the day, as it is every day on the show, with 868 days until the election. And in hour 3 of our show, Mark Zuckerberg is the lowest third-party candidate ever. And J.D. Vance is coming away with it with 55% of the vote. 25 minutes left in the show, people. Get your votes in now.
$6 billion medical equipment scheme using stolen identities to make false Medicare claims. Today, I can announce that earlier this month, we apprehended 2 of those defendants extradited from Estonia. Separately, over the weekend, we conducted the foreign transfer to custody of a defendant who is allegedly connected to another $3.7 billion in intended loss. I want to thank our tireless federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies who work hard every day and participated in these whole-of-government operations. This is just the beginning. Fraudsters can no longer rip off American taxpayers. If you seek to harm or cheat Americans, we will find you, seize any assets, and prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. Thank you very much. I'm going to turn it over now to Secretary Kennedy. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney General Blanche, and thank you to the White House Fraud Task Force, to Colin McDonald of the Justice Department, to Director Kash Patel of the FBI, to the HHS Office of Inspector General, to Dr. Oz and the CMS team, and the investigators and law enforcement officers who brought these cases forward. President Trump directed this administration to confront healthcare fraud aggressively, and we are doing that. The 2026 National Healthcare Fraud Takedown uncovered $6.5 billion in alleged fraud, the second largest amount ever charged in a single healthcare fraud operation. The Department of Justice charged a record number of Medicaid fraud defendants. More than 440 defendants now face charges.
Pretty illegally glancing.
This effort brought together federal agencies, state partners, and U.S. territories across the United States. 18 of the participating states, as Attorney General Blanche pointed out, were blue states with Democratic governors. Fraud does not recognize party lines, and neither does accountability. Today's cases include the largest Medicaid fraud enforcement action in Department of history, 165 defendants charged with allegedly submitting more than $200 million in false claims to Medicaid. These schemes did not target government programs, they targeted the American taxpayer. They stole money from workers who pay taxes, from families who depend on Medicare and Medicaid, and from patients who trusted their healthcare professionals to be serving their health interests when it turns out they were just chasing money from our agencies. The allegations in these cases are particularly disturbing. Some defendants allegedly ordered medically unnecessary tests. Others prescribed products that patients did not need. Some allegedly fueled opioid addiction to increase their own revenue. In certain cases, patients allegedly died while believing they were receiving legitimate medical care from providers who only viewed them as billing opportunities. These defendants did not simply break the law, they violated the trust that patients place in medical professionals. One of today's indictments charged a hospice owner in Los Angeles area and 2 marketers in a $27.7 million Medicare fraud scheme. According to the indictment, the owner paid illegal kickbacks to obtain personal information of deceased Medicare beneficiaries. One of the ways that Colin and Dr. Oz have been chasing down hospice fraud, we've closed now 800 hospices in LA. And one of the ways that we've been able to detect that fraud is that in many of them, the patients never die. They live forever. That's not supposed to happen in hospices. And this particular owner was actually going out and purchasing names from coroners of dead patients and then billing us for those, to make it appear that some of his patients were actually finally dying. And while taxpayers funded these false claims, the owner purchased a Rolls-Royce Phantom. That case illustrates exactly what is at stake.
Damn, bro bought a Rolls-Royce with it?
Scheme is
bro.
Unavailable for patient care, for medical
Come on.
or for services for vulnerable Americans. During the Biden administration, my predecessor implemented 2 reforms at HHS. One of those was that
Make sure you double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, send people into the algorithm for our poll of the day, as it is every day on this show. With 19 minutes left in our show, JD Vance is currently leading it with 54% of the vote. Mark Zuckerberg tied for last place, 6% right now.
Called pay and chase system. We know when invoices come into my agency, we can tell that some of them are fraudulent or probably fraudulent. And the new system said we're not going to stop those payments. We want everybody paid, and then we'll claw them back at the end. It was called pay and chase. And when I asked people, the careers at HHS, how could you do this? This is crazy, because of course we never claw back anything. They said that they were told to focus on enrollment and not fraud. The other thing that they did is to liquidate our program integrity office. So when my predecessor came into office, there were 80 people in program integrity, which is not enough, because it's 50 states and 5 territories. And when I got in, there was only 6 left. So all of those people were transferred or let go, and we were literally doing no program integrity. And that opened up the floodgates for all of this fraud. $100 billion in fraud a year that are being stolen now from my agency. The federal government paid claims first, chase fraud after the money was out the door. And that approach, of course, failed taxpayers. We are ending it. HHS is replacing the old pay and chase system with a detect and prevent strategy that identifies suspicious claims before the taxpayer dollars ever leave the Treasury. We are deploying advanced artificial intelligence and data analytics to identify fraudulent billing patterns in real time, stop improper payments before they occur, and strengthen oversight across federal health programs. Our objective is straightforward: to stop the fraud before it happens. The people charged today should understand that we will continue expanding these capabilities, strengthening enforcement, and pursuing every credible allegation of fraud. If you exploit patients for profit, if you steal Medicaid or Medicare dollars, if you treat taxpayer dollars as your personal bank account, we will investigate you, we will build the case, and we will bring you to justice. We will find fraud, we will stop it, we will recover taxpayer dollars whenever the law permits, and we will restore integrity to the programs that millions of Americans rely on for their care. Thank you, and I now want to introduce
No News is News.
Colin McDonald from the Justice
Department.
Department.
We cover the news every day, starting at 5 p.m. Central. I'm dying right now because we're in the third hour overtime, about to hit number 4.
Thank you, Secretary Kennedy.
All right, we're done with that shit now. Now that the joke is over. All right, guys, let's take a look at our poll of the day so far. Double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, send people into the algorithm for our poll of the day, as it is every single day on this show, With 868 days until the election and 16 minutes left in our poll, J.D. Vance is winning with 53%. Mark Zuckerberg tied for last place with 6% of the vote. Let's get into some YouTube news now. Let's see what we got on deck here. Yeah, let's see what's going on with this. This is interesting. MS Now.
My guess is, based on his past experience, it's just going to be another hot, steamy pile of dough. I think he's incompetent, sycophant, and not the right person to lead DNI.
Unleash Tom Tillis is everyone's favorite Tom Tillis. Hi again, everybody. It's now 5 o'clock in the East. First there was Elon Musk, and now, according to one U.S. senator you heard there's Bill Pulte, the man who is now the nation's acting director of national intelligence, who has zero intelligence experience under his belt, is currently cutting jobs at the agency he has led for not even 3 full days. That is according to a senior White House official, following through on a directive given to him from Donald Trump. Top Democrats on the Senate and House Intelligence Committees wrote a letter to Pulte stressing this, quote, given your lack of experience within the intelligence community, it is difficult to imagine that in such a short amount of time, you've already developed fully informed views as to how to shrink ODNI without incurring risks to national security.
Okay, shut up.
Meanwhile,
so they always try to clickbait me on those ones. We're done on that. Let's see if we can get some... Let's go to Meet the Press.
Trail, and all as President Trump hits the campaign trail in battleground Pennsylvania, looking to turn the page on the Iran war and focus on what matters most to voters. That's the economy, an issue where he's seen his approval numbers hit new lows in recent weeks. You're looking at live pictures here of the president campaigning in Pennsylvania's 7th district, which Democrats see as one of their best opportunities to oust a sitting Republican congressman in November, in large part by focusing on the issue of affordability. President Trump today touting the recent stock market gains, insisting prices are coming down, and also slamming Democrats for voting against his tax cuts, all as he claimed the economy would only improve from here.
Our economy is ready to soar to levels the world has not seen before.
The mayor is backing progressive challengers to 2 Democratic incumbents, throwing his support behind City Comptroller Brad Lander against Congressman Dan Golden, and endorsing Democratic Socialist Daria Lisa Avila Chevalier over the chairman of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, Congressman Adriano Espaillat. Mamdani also supporting another Democratic Socialist, State Assembly member Claire Valdez, not the candidate
it's
being
starting,
guys.
Guys.
Congresswoman Nydia
It's
Velazquez.
Starting.
Joining me now is our NBC News team, senior national politics reporter
commies
John
are
Allen
coming.
is at the White House, Capitol Hill correspondent Julie Sirkin on the ground in New York City, senior national political
case of District 13, where you have Congressman Espaillat, who is the head of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. He has a lot of backing, not only in Washington, but also from the governor here, Kathy Hochul. And then if you move over to New York 7, where you have Claire Valdez, for example, one voter told me the only thing that separates Valdez from her opponent, Antonio Reynoso, who has more experience in local government, is that Mamdani endorsement. It could play different in a 7 than in a 13 for the reason that there is an incumbent still in 13. And the same reason goes here in New York 10, where there is an incumbent, Dan Goldman, backed by Hakeem Jeffries, of course, the Democratic leader. I just actually had an interview with him, and we talked about the Mamdani endorsement factor, and he told me he doesn't think it's playing the same in his race. And I have to agree, Mal, after talking to a couple of voters in this specific district, it seems like maybe they just don't feel represented by Dan Goldman. They said that they feel like Lander knows them well, like he has run the city government, he's been the comptroller, he lives in this area. So I do think it's a little bit different, but certainly Mamdani risking his political capital if it doesn't go his way. And so far, turnout is about half of where it was last year when Mamdani ended up winning. And a lot of those voters, a lot of that support comes from young people.
Another debate, Julie, that's been really roiling the Democratic Party, I know we've talked about this a lot, is the issue of Israel, especially since the 2024 election. How big of a role is that playing here in some of these races?
My stance is get rid of all incumbents, so yeah.
Well, it's playing a major role, and not only in terms of defining the direction the Democrats go in moving forward. For example, in my interview with Dan Goldman, the congressman, he really had his rise because he led those impeachment proceedings against President Trump, and he said he's crafted his entire career around the message of taking down Donald Trump, of defeating him, and now he feels like Democrats are fighting amongst themselves over this issue of Israel. It's not even AIPAC that has to do much in this race. None of the candidates are accepting money from that organization, and yet when I was interviewing Congressman Goldman, who is Jewish, who was in Israel on October 7th, we got interrupted several times, not by a random protester, but by a woman who was actively canvassing for his opponent, Brett Lander. Take a listen to a little bit of what Goldman had to tell me after that interaction.
I don't think that the results are going to necessarily bear that out. There's no question Israel has been a big issue in this race. It has been especially disappointing to me that he has run a campaign using anti-Semitic tropes as the wedge issue.
Now, Mel, both Goldman and his opponent, Brad Lander, are Jewish Americans. Lander, though, believes that Israel should not have funding for its Iron Dome, for defense capabilities. I will tell you, though, for Goldman, this has gotten really personal. He seemed a little bit deflated today when he came across that protester, and he just had a situation yesterday when he visited a coffee shop. The interaction went fine, and then afterwards, the owner of that coffee shop refunded him and made a post on Instagram about the congressman's support for Israel.
And Julie, we're also watching a very crowded Democratic primary in New York 12 to replace retiring Congressman Jerry Nadler. That's where outside spending from AI companies has really emerged as a dominating issue. What's the debate there?
Yeah, super interesting. All of these races are so different. I'll also point out that New York 12 is where Mamdani votes and lives, but he did not endorse in that race. It's the second open primary race in New York. As you mentioned, Jerry Nadler, after 3 decades, stepping down. It's a really crowded field. You have JFK's only grandson, Jack Schlossberg, running in that race. You also have the two frontrunners who are both assemblymen. And here's where AI comes in. Alex Boris, who's one of those assemblymen, he led the charge in the state legislature against AI, putting guardrails on AI technology so that people don't feel like they're taken advantage of. Some people I spoke to said that it's hugely important to them. It wasn't even going to be an issue that he focused on, but Boris said he kept hearing from people talking about how they don't like data centers popping up and so forth. So big tech pouring in money against him. We'll see how it shakes out today. Mel?
Julie Sturkin, thank you. I want to bring the conversation a little bit closer to home. In Maryland, Sahil Kapoor is there. All eyes over in Maryland are on a state Senate race that has some pretty big implications for the nationwide redistricting battle that we've been watching unfold. Sahil, tell us more about that.
Yeah, absolutely, Mel. This is a fascinating race, and it's emblematic of some of the biggest and most consequential divides within the Democratic Party that we're seeing play out all over the country, the progressive versus moderate divide, insiders versus outsiders, anti-incumbency currents that we will soon find out may or may not be strong enough to sweep up Maryland Senate President Bill Ferguson, a Democrat who has been dominating in this Baltimore district for the last decade and a half and now faces a serious challenge from the outsider candidate, Bobby Le Pen, who's an Army veteran. He's running on a progressive platform of change and a more combative Democratic Party. He told me just moments ago he feels like Bernie Sanders running against Chuck Schumer. And he also compared himself somewhat to New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani. If you watch some of Le Pen's social media videos that have gone viral, you can kind of see what he's talking about. I spoke to both candidates about their vision and their philosophy in the race. Take a listen to what they had to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think firefighters don't fight fire with fire. In fact, they fight it with water, and they put the fire out. And I think that's because you have to be strategic and thoughtful. You don't want to burn the house down. You want to actually stop the fire. And I think that's where Democrats really have to make sure that we are making the thoughtful, purposeful decisions.
People do not get over losing their democracy. People do not get over what is happening in this country. They want Democrats.
Oh, this guy's gay. This guy's super gay. Hey, did somebody cut off your balls, sir? You're super gay. You're like wearing the army t-shirt. It's all about how the democracy's in shambles. Meanwhile, the other guy's legitimately looks like a metrosexual, but he's legitimately a firefighter in the community. Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy.
They want real Democrats to stand up and fight
Straight
back,
up,
10 toes
right
in
off
the
the
ground,
bat.
face to face, and push
Shut
back.
the fuck
because
up,
our
you little
very
dweeb.
freedoms are at risk.
Oh, everything's freedoms are at risk.
And then, of course, Mel, there's a big issue that has brought national attention to this race, which is redistricting in Maryland, the Democratic push to draw out
people really fall for that
Republican
shit.
Congressman in
Other one was
this
a
state.
firefighter.
Ferguson, as state Senate president, blocked that effort, became a bit of a villain among many Democrats. He told me today that he has shifted his position on that issue in light of the Supreme Court's Voting Rights Act ruling. He's willing to take another look at redrawing Maryland's House map, although he does believe that they need state constitutional amendment first in order to avoid it from backfiring in the courts. Now, Le Pen dismisses all of that. He describes it as cynical politics from Ferguson, said it's evidence that Ferguson worries he might lose this race. He called it a day late and a dollar short. So, again, a very interesting race. We'll find out in a few hours which of these candidates is going to win.
And Sahel, real quickly, tell me what other races you're watching in Maryland tonight.
Yeah, a couple of them. There is one in Maryland's 6th Congressional District, D.C. suburb, stretching up from Montgomery County to the western part of the district. April McLean Delaney, the sitting congresswoman of one term, is running against David Trone, who held that seat for several cycles. He ran for Senate last time. He lost. Now he wants his old seat back. It's hard to turn on a TV, even in the D.C. area, and not see these two running ads.
Guys, make sure you double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, send people into the algorithm for the poll of the day, as it is every day on this show. With 5 minutes remaining in our poll, we're going to go into a second round. We're going to go into an hour 4. We are. But right now, J.D. Vance is leading, and Mark Zuckerberg is tied with Vivek Ramaswamy for the lowest votes ever of a third-party candidate.
They're both spending a lot of money.
Who will be the third party the next
the
hour?
He's
gotten some good recommendations that are going in the slot.
Angela Alsobrooks, who defeated Trone last time
Keep
around.
throwing your Rex
and
out,
then, of course, Maryland's 5th district to replace Steny Hoyer after more than 40 years serving. There's a very crowded primary featuring 24 candidates. The frontrunner there seems to be Adrian Boafo, a delegate in the state house who is backed by Hoyer, used to be his campaign manager, also running with the support of the governor and Senator Alsobrooks. 24 candidates, Mel, a very, very competitive primary.
A lot to watch for. Sahil Kapoor, thank you.
Good afternoon.
Let's turn now to the big board where Steve Kornacki
Can't be
is.
people that are
Steve,
dead.
you heard our
It
colleagues
has
on
to
the
be
ground
people that
highlighting
can't
some of
qualify
those
as
key
president.
races. But tell me, what are you watching for tonight?
I think one of the questions here across these states is how many incumbents are going to lose tonight? How many incumbent members of Congress are we going to see that? We've had 4 so far this year, incumbent members of the House who've lost in primaries. As I think you just heard there, Dan Goldman, of all the incumbents across any state tonight up in the House, clearly in the most danger. There was a poll about a month ago here, limited polling, but there was a poll about a month ago that had Lander more than 2-1 ahead of Goldman. You can see the district here. It spans. This is Brooklyn over here. This is lower Manhattan over here. Obviously, it's a very Democratic district. It's a super liberal district. It's also a district that Mamdani won handily in the Democratic primary for mayor last year over Andrew Cuomo. So it's sort of Mamdani-type Democratic voters here. Mamdani is behind Lander. Goldman, when he first won this seat 4 years ago, super crowded Democratic primary. He won that primary 4 years ago with only 26% of the vote. And then he sort of coasted in the general election as a Democrat in this district. 2 years ago, he had some weak opposition and yet still lost a third of the vote in the Democratic primary. So his hold on this district has never been that firm. And certainly Lander has a lot of ingredients here, and he's really leaned into that sort of left-wing messaging, particularly on Israel, that I think seems to have resonance in this district. So Goldman, I think, clearly the most endangered incumbent tonight. You want to rank him number 2, maybe this one right here, maybe Adriano Espaillat. You're talking about here. This is sort of Harlem, East Harlem, northern Manhattan, and then it stretches into the Bronx. But most of the vote is going to be there in, sort of the northern part of Manhattan. Espaillat was elected a decade ago. It's an interesting story because this district historically, if you went back a generation or so, this was sort of one of the most significant districts, congressional districts for Black America, based in Harlem. It was represented by Adam Clayton Powell. It was represented by Charlie Rangel. Demographically, the Hispanic population has really risen dramatically the last few decades, and Espaillat kind of rode that demographic wave. He ran against Charlie Rangel a couple times before Rangel retired. Then he got this seat. He's trying trying to hold on now, kind of rallying the sort of older political establishment in this district against Daria Liza Chevalier, endorsed by Zoran Mamdani. You do have some new arrivals. There's some gentrification playing out in this district. College graduates who are, I think, very progressive politically. There's newer sort of voters there. Are there enough of them? Are they turning out in big numbers? Is there sort of stagnant turnout elsewhere to give Chevalier a chance here? As Sahil mentioned in Maryland, this race right here, just more than $30 million spent between these candidates. David Schroen had been the congressman.
I vote for him again just for
U.S.
White
Senate
House, bro.
2 years ago, lost that Senate primary. Now he wants to come back. When he left, April McLean Delaney came in and she won the seat. And she's the wife of a former congressman who held the seat about a decade ago, to add another wrinkle there. But, so much volatility just given the money, especially Trump has put in $25 million of his own money into this district, trying to unseat Delaney and get his seat back. And then two others later tonight, we're going to get numbers out of Utah, and I think these two are worth keeping an eye on here. Blake Moore is an incumbent. He's a member of the House Congressional Leadership. He lost at the state convention, the Utah State Republican Convention. Very conservative, activist-oriented convention there. He lost. Now, he's lost before and then held on in primaries. You can lose the convention, petition your way onto the ballot. But it's worth keeping an eye on Moore because the base of the party, I think, has always had some distrust of him. And the lines have been scrambled.
Another hour down and another hour continuing. We're going into hour 4, people, which means we have another third-party candidate on our hands. We have here tonight on our third party, who will be president in 2028? 868. I'm going to throw an ad at you, those of you that don't have YouTube Premium. Thank you so much. 868 days until election. We have Mr. J.D. Vance. Oh, actually, we're below. They voted for the crap. They deserved it. We're below, guys. That's it. We hit below 50. Unfortunately, we hit below 50 live subscribers, so the night is over after 3.5 hours, or 3 hours and 4 minutes with you guys. 40,000 in the live chat. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to No News is News. Remember, tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Central Time, yet again, I will see you then. J.D. Vance wins it. That's another for J.D. Vance's column. So that's 34 for J.D. Vance. Mark Zuckerberg at 6%. Let's repeat them one last time for y'all if you want to hear it before you go. Mark Zuckerberg and Vivek Ramaswamy, 6%. Peace out, Michael. Olivia Rodrigo, Melania Trump, 7%. Dave Portnoy, 8%. Thomas Massey, Alex Jones, John Fetterman, Theo Vaughn, 9%. RFK, 10%. Tulsi Gabbard, Ben Shapiro, 11%. Bobby Lee, Stephen Miller, Elon Musk, Asmongold, The Rock, The Rock, 12%. AOC, 14%. Shane Gillis, Joe Rogan, 15%. Mark Cuban, 16%. Michelle Obama, 17%. Taylor Swift, 19%. Afroman, 20%. Tucker Carlson, 21%. And Mr. Beast, Jon Stewart, Kamala Harris, and Matthew McConaughey, 22% of the vote as third party. Marco Rubio has won 2 times. Gavin Newsom has won 13 times. J.D. Vance is on a 2-day win streak with 34 wins in total. I will see you guys all tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central Time. Hit the subscribe button. See you then. Peace!